Hello! Hi friends, welcome in, hope you're all good. I'm just going to make a quick YouTube post, so bear with me. In the meantime though, do want to remind you all, if you didn't catch the quick promo graphic that I edited into my intro screen, tomorrow evening, 8:30 p.m. GMT, for the record it's like 3 p.m. GMT now for people who aren't in my time zone, so that is tomorrow and an additional 5.5 hours from now. We'll be roasting some cats over on twitch.tv/Ellen from now on. It's going to be a very good time, hope you all enjoy. Do make sure to catch the show afterwards if you can't watch live. It's also going to go up on Ellen's YouTube channel at some point, so yeah, pretty excited about this. It's going to be a fun time. So I'm going to very quickly post a YouTube thing. What shall we do? This one. There we go. In the meantime, hi. How are you all? I've trimmed my facial hair a little bit. It was getting a little bit walrusy for me, so I look a little different. I look like the berries and cream guy today. I've got like this page boy haircut going on. It's awful. I still need to get a haircut, but who leaves the house these days? Right, so 2 seconds while I post this. Hopefully my audio volume is a little bit better for people now. I can still turn the music down a little extra, but yeah, so it turns out my computer's motherboard decided to install a virtual sound card that like cut my volume in half, basically, because it set its own volume level when it set itself up as the primary audio device, and I was like, excuse you? I have a physical audio mixer for a reason. It's because I don't like my computer setting my volume levels for me. So, yeah, sounds good there? Okay, great. Because, yeah, I watched back the VOD of Tuesday's stream, and I was like, why am I so quiet? It's also been coming through quieter on the recordings that I've been making for Survival Guide, but I think that's fine. I can just normalize the audio and add a compressor and stuff. But, like, yeah, it was way quieter than I expected it to be, which was rough. So I have cranked a couple of settings and set it back to, like, actually taking an input from the USB audio mixer instead of doing its own thing. Exploring more of the Survival Guide world. Just looking for cool locations for future projects. Should be a chill exploration stream. Come hang out. twitch.tv/PixelRiffs. There we go. And post. Alright, so immediately there will be spoilers for tomorrow's episode because I'm at the location of tomorrow's episode, but if you were here on Tuesday, you saw what tomorrow's episode is going to be anyway, so we'll see. Liara with the 41 months, almost there, almost. Hopeless Dove, thank you so much for the 20 months as well. Such long, very months, indeed, indeed. And Nixcraft, thank you for the 200 bits. Your fancy bit badge is gone? Oh no. I hope it comes back soon. Right, let's get into it. Loading world, loading worlds. Have to remember what my render distance is set to. Oh, and my FOV is set to very, very close as well. Yeah, so I finished raiding the Woodland Mansion, and pillagers immediately appeared on the roof like gargoyles, which was very funny to me. And yeah, my render distance is way high. Okay, there we go. 16. Nice, comfortable render distance. And we're going to go straight home, basically. I do want to do a little bit of off the beaten path as we go. But I just want to take a series of coordinates, like screenshots for fun stuff. I do like stuff like this, where we get a little bit of cave overhang. There's some lush cave in there as well, which is quite nice. But yeah, I want to look around my world and try and find some fun places that we can set up projects in future. Because right now, like, I want to look at locations for bases. I have a couple in mind already, just for build projects and stuff. But, yeah, I'm thinking about what we can do for the future. Stephen Venom, thank you for the 100 bits. Are there any major structures or biomes I haven't found yet? I haven't found a mushroom island yet. That'd be a really interesting case. I haven't found... Structure-wise, I mean, the stronghold, obviously. I haven't gone looking for the stronghold yet, and we won't be doing that on this stream. It's possible we might stumble into a stronghold if we go caving or something, but I doubt it. They're twice as hard to find, theoretically, because there's twice as much underground. Nixcraft, Triforce Wolf, thank you for the 100 bits apiece, and enjoy the hype train, folks. If you're interested in contributing to the hype train and getting yourself some exclusive Twitch emotes, you can cheer some bits, gift some subs, subscribe if you're not already, or resub if you've got one available, as many of these kind folks are doing. Will I fight the dragon? Eventually, yes. Not right now, though. Not right away, and probably not for another week or two here in the world, because I do still feel like there's a lot to be said for getting stuff done before the Ender Dragon fight, because there are a lot of people who think the Ender Dragon fight is just going to be like, that's it for that world. They fight the dragon, they don't really know what to do at that point, and so I want to establish a few things first. I want to cover a few different mechanics first. I want to show people, you know, the potential the world has, and I think there's also, especially in this update, a certain amount of merit to exploring the world from, like, on foot or the back of a horse or in a boat, from ground level, from sea level, because that way you get to experience the terrain like somebody on foot would, you know? Like the way humans have explored the Earth. Because we couldn't really fly a whole bunch until planes were invented. So I think it's kind of nice to be able to explore the worlds in this way before we get Elytra and before it just becomes about like getting from place to place. I find that a lot of the time, and this might have changed a bit in 1.18 because of the way chunk rendering works, although it might have gotten even worse. A lot of the time when you're flying around with Elytra, you just don't really see the terrain that's underneath you. You're either focused on the coordinates you're trying to get to, or the chunks don't load because chunk loading is resource intensive and it doesn't always prioritize that. Okay, floating fire, a bit weird. The top of that grass was burning. So I kind of think it's nice to explore a bit on foot before you're flying around, because that way you get to see more of the world instead of just flying over it. Does that make sense? Obviously, when you're flying around, it makes it easier to, like, take in mountains, and the bird's eye view of stuff is also really cool, but yeah, I do think it's kind of cooler to see hills from sea level and just go, wow, that's really tall compared to, like, where I'm at right now, you know? Hit died 6, thank you so much for the 100 bits. I think there's a potential for things to feel a little bit more, not overwhelming, but at least whelming. We don't want things to be underwhelming. As far as structures that I haven't encountered yet, I haven't done anything with witch huts because I haven't found a swamp that had a witch hut in it. So I might deviate a little bit further afield if we see stuff like swamps like over here, because then if we see a witch hut over here, that could be kind of useful for a future episode. I can take coordinates of stuff like this. It's also way far out right now, so I wouldn't guarantee that this is where I would end up making a witch farm, because there will be swamps closer to me that have witch farms that I just haven't seen yet. Mistress Fairy, thank you for the 13 months. Key D10, thanks so much for the tier 1 sub. And Sweet Sandy with 100 bits, thank you very much. And yeah, in terms of like Ruined Nether Portals, Shipwrecks, all of that stuff, I'm not going to be raiding them as I go. It's much more of like an explore stuff, a look but don't touch kind of stream. Is being whelmed a bit like being whammed in December? I mean, not quite. Not quite. Imagine if there was a band called Whelm. I'm sure there is. There's a band called basically everything. There are no new band names out there. Weird spike generation? I know, I quite like that. It's one of those things that you see from a distance and you're like, wow, that's a really cool spike of terrain. And then you turn to one side and it turns out, yeah, there's a pig on me, whatever. It turns out that the generation of it isn't quite as cool as it looks. Like, this thing is is like all flat on one side, and it looks way more kind of awkward from this side than it does if it was like the kind of spikes that Fwip was building in his empire on the server. It's like, yeah, it actually comes to a point instead of this like lollipop head kind of thing it's trying to do. Prep for Woodland Mansion. Already done Woodland Mansion. Already recorded it this morning. So we're all good now. We're heading home. But we're heading home via a more circuitous and winding route so that we can take a look at what else is out here in the world. Because I just want to run around seeing cool stuff now. And see, like, if we want to make a swamp base, do we do it here? Do we find a swamp that has 1 or even 2 witch huts? Are we going to find cool mountains to look at? Are we going to find an interesting, like, one of those massive, like, surface level dips down into a lush cave would be really cool. My goal for a lush cave base is to find one that has a abandoned mine shaft, like, hanging from the ceiling. I love it when that happens. I want to find one of those, like, jungle gym, lush cave, abandoned mine shaft combos. I'm coming up here just to see if I can spot a witch hut over the tree line, but I've found a couple of swamps now. I'm quite happy that we've actually found swamps in the world, because they were one of the biomes that I didn't really see a great deal of around me, but still no sign of witch huts. I know they generate in 1.18, like I don't think there's a bug with them or anything, but not every swamp is going to have a witch hut, and a lot of the swamps that I've found so far have not. You'd think with the biomes being bigger, there might be more potential for one. Also, the fact that swamps can have taller terrain means that it might be possible for a witch hut to generate halfway up a hill, which would be really funny, if a little inconvenient for, you know, farming. Although you never know, there might be less terrain to clear out if it's not all just, like, low-lying wetlands. If you want to have an AFK spot up in the air. Had a witch hut near the Spike Mountain, did I? Did I just miss it? There's lava over there. Let me go back. Wife just started playing Minecraft and been watching the Survival Guide series. It's been really helpful. Hey, not a hot dog. I'm glad your wife is enjoying it. It's always fun to play Minecraft together as a family, if that's what you're doing, at least. This week's going amazing. You're an adventure person. You're loving it. Great. I'm glad. I want to get a bit more exploration done in episodes, but it's hard to do a tutorial just about, like, let's wander around the world and see what we can see, you know? Oh, there is one right there. You're right. I can't believe I missed that. Well, thank you for pointing that out. That saved me a lot of time. I was looking in completely the wrong direction. Hey, weird, I pressed Alt F4 and it just banned you from my chat. That's wild. Amazing that keyboard shortcuts can do that these days. Yeah, so that is An Witch Hut with Resident Witch. It's just minding our own business. We won't trouble her yet. Maybe another time. But yeah, this just segues into forest at this point. So we have at least one witch hut, at least. We'll take the coordinates of that. Oh, chat. Oh, chat. Look what we found in a windswept hills. That's right, it's the first emerald ore block of the season. I am going to do an episode at some point where we just go mining in a mountain biome. Just so I can get emerald ore. We fortuned one. We will never do it again. Hopefully. Unless I accidentally, like, switch pickaxes and stuff. By the way, can you tell I raided a woodland mansion? Got a lot of bookshelves. That's hopefully not too much of a spoiler. Fresh greens! I know, right? Thank you all for spamming the emotes. Type Winkle, thanks so much for the 17 months. MC Bella with the 200 bits, and Year 2101 with the 100 bits. Think a giant amethyst cave build would be epic in the future? Yes, I would love to do a combination, like, break out a geode into an amethyst kind of cave formation. Do that in a lush cave somewhere. That'd be ideal for me, I think. So there's more swamp over there, but I think it just segues into a birch forest at that stage. So nothing much to worry about there. Do I prefer deep slate or stone emerald? I honestly like the original emerald a bit more, but that's only because it was the only one beforehand. Deep slate emerald looks beautiful, though. Stone emerald is easier to find because you get it on the surface, and in taller mountain biomes you get a lot of it. Ravenfire Gaming with 100 bits, a basement extension or a castle dungeon just for precious emerald and deep slate emerald ores would be cool. Yes. Loving the ideas you guys are generating right now. I like that idea of having like a treasury that's just full of emerald blocks. Gonna grab that one just because the portal is kind of buried, so like, eh. I don't really prioritize raiding ruined portals though, because you can get so much gold later on that you don't really need it. How many blocks am I away from spawn? Like 4,500-ish? Obviously, it's different because of diagonals in the X and Y. When 119 comes out and you haven't done anything in the swamps, will you reset the chunks in case they become mangroves? Maybe. We'll see how that works out. I usually do a couple of tests before I reset stuff permanently. You know, like clone the world and figure out a couple of places that those will actually generate before I permanently change anything about the world. But a lot of this is just going to be stuff that we've not really spent a great deal of time in. We've just walked through or flown over or something. So I expect, yeah, I might reset some old chunks at that stage. So we had a cool little spruce tiger village back there. Would only use Optifine because I don't need to. The spyglass provides a really nice, immersive, in-game zoom feature. I really enjoy it. The only other things I would need would be connected glass and shaders, and like, I don't really need either of those. Plus, those can be provided by other mods now, and I'll do an episode about Optifine eventually, but I also want to research Sodium and Iris and all of the mods that people use as Optifine substitutes, because if I make an episode just about Optifine, everyone's going to be like, oh, Sodium's better, and then I have to, like, justify my choices to a whole group of people. So I decided I'll probably do a bit more research before I get to that point. But just playing in vanilla Minecraft is nice for the moment because it's like an accessible way to play. The way I have the game looks like the way everybody has the game. I don't have to deal with everybody asking me why I'm using Optifine versus using something else versus not using them at all, you know? And pick stream Minecraft and tea. I mean, I'm with you there. This is a mug of my brother-in-law dabbing, by the way. It's kind of harder to see with the focus on the camera, but it's available from his merch store. Twitch.tv/MrCasto. Chris is a strange man, but his stream is very entertaining. Saren, unfortunately only mods can give shoutouts, but I appreciate the sentiment. Cringe, but also pog. Very much describes Chris's stream. I should put that on like a banner. Mr. Casto, it's cringe, but also pog. Do I have merch? I don't know. Merch is a complicated thing for me because I want to have stuff that isn't just like in-jokes from my stream or my videos. Like I want something that actually looks vaguely fashionable that people might wear, even if they didn't want it to be like an in-joke from a Minecraft stream. Like I'm wearing a Concorp t-shirt under this right now. Like Carbon Scars Hermitcraft thing from a couple of seasons ago. You see that? It's in there. It's in there somewhere. It'd be better if I had like a full screen situation here. There we go. Concorp. And I'm like, that's borderline for me. That's like a thing that is clearly like a reference to Hermitcraft, but it doesn't necessarily like mean anything to anybody, and the logo is quite well designed and stuff. I kind of like the idea of having stuff like that, but at the same time, making physical merchandise also means that you have to do a lot more stuff tax-wise, because physical products require VAT in the UK, and so there's a lot of like additional concerns with that when it comes to filing taxes, and I'm like, yeah. Do I drink cappuccino or different coffee? I don't tend to drink coffee all that much because it kind of amps up my anxiety. I get very jittery. I'll tend to only drink coffee if it's like a social situation and things are very relaxed. So I haven't drunk coffee for like a couple of years now. But like if I'm having a really relaxing day and I'm just hanging out with friends and we go for coffee, I will drink coffee. But I don't tend to drink it much at home. Have the Boomers Demolition hoodie. It's very nice. Yeah, there's a couple of really neat things that the folks at Hermitcraft have produced, but I don't want it to just be like my Minecraft face on like a t-shirt or something, you know? I want it to be a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more considered than that. Did I get a haircut? No, I shaved. There's a difference between the two, although I can see how you'd assume that like something about my appearance has changed. Haircut probably the more likely. Not so much. He'd all buy my merch. Yeah, but that's not the problem. Like it's. I feel like the problem would be people buying the merch, because then I have to do more in terms of like tax stuff that already makes me anxious. Am I going to keep Fire Spread off? Yes, I plan on keeping Fire Spread off. The only reason I didn't, like the only reason I turned Fire Spread off in the original Survival Guide worlds was that campfires didn't exist yet. So if you made a fireplace, you had to put like actual fire in it, or like I don't know, magma blocks or something. But even those, like I always thought like hot coals looks fine, I guess, but I like having an actual fire burning in the hearth, you know. But now campfires don't set fire to anything. There's a better alternative, and you can actually use them practically to cook things. But that's the whole reason I turned Fire Tick off on the last Survival Guide world. Cute little quarry, not really doing much. Tend to burn forests when you pass them. Yeah, I've not started any fires myself, but obviously the fires kind of start themselves when you've got lava pools around and everything. That's looking a little dangerous. I think one of the things I might end up doing, if we head on home, which I'm going to because I'd like to drop off a few things before we do much more traveling, I want to maybe try and get feather falling on these boots. There are too many occasions on which I could have fallen off something, and I'm glad that I habitually hold shift, because otherwise I would fall to my death. Rather emphatically. How many in-game deaths? None in this world. And I would rather like to keep it that way. Horses can't pass dense forest, that's why you burn them. That's fair enough. That's one of the reasons I haven't brought a horse with me on this trip. The other being that I started it through a nether portal. So, I decided to warp back to the desert temple. And I didn't want to ride my horse through the nether because it means making taller nether tunnels. Jar Lover, thank you so much for the 13 months. Why not do the Survival Guide in a hardcore world? Because it's a tutorial series and I have to completely restart if I died. Like, I don't want to go back to making basic tutorials if I end up, you know, making a silly mistake and dying. The whole thing about my Hardcore Survival Guide series was just like, sure, I'm doing a hardcore series, let's see if I like this or not. Spoiler alert, I didn't. I found the pressure of not dying whilst also trying to provide informative videos was just like... It was not a very good combination for me. So I decided I probably wouldn't do that again. What if I do the all death messages video again? Am I going to get a lot of deaths then? Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of thing that I would want to actually intentionally take a death in Minecraft for, you know? But I want to save it for something like that. I don't want to necessarily take too many risks unless they are warranted for the sake of a video, you know? Don't enjoy the pressure of hardcore myself. Yeah, I think it's just one of those things that, like, people are trying to redefine it as, like, this is the correct way to play Minecraft, and I don't like that attitude. It's the same attitude I see from people thinking things are, like, more legit if you build them in survival. I'm like, have you seen the stuff people build in creative? If it's the kind of stuff that got their imagination fired up and got them to create something that they wouldn't have otherwise, build it in whatever game mode you like. I don't care. It is impressive that you built stuff, and I'm proud of you. Like, not to be, like, overly wholesome about it or whatever, but people should just do what they want, man. Skull Daisy Game, thank you so much for 34 months. Grand adventure for my sub anniversary. Have we found anything cool so far this session? We found a witch hut. We found a witch hut earlier. Somebody pointed out that I'd walked past one, so I did have to double back. But yeah, we found a witch hut earlier. That was a good find. Something I haven't seen yet in the series so far. It was quite a far distance away though, so I expect we'll find one closer that I just haven't stumbled upon yet. Some cool looking caves. This is like a parking garage for boats. And a multi-level aquifer as well. I like that. Like a system of locks, you know? Kids find survival stressful but build amazing stuff in creative. Exactly. And they're kids as well. Like, what, are you going to shame them for not doing it in survival? Come on. I like these little, like, basin areas where there's larger kind of tall cliffs around here, and there's a bamboo forest in the kind of central location, but it's surrounded by regular jungle on the other sides. That's cute. I don't know if this is where I'd want to build a jungle thing, but anyone remembers the jungle base from Decidedly Vanilla Season 4, where I was building, like, robot dinosaurs everywhere, Horizon Zero Dawn style? That's a concept I'd like to revisit. Probably not in this world, but I liked the idea. And Forbidden West is coming out soon. Nope, wasn't going to happen. Need to get a jump in first. There we go. Working on my parkour style, slowly but surely. Never really been a parkour guy. Mr. Bluebird on my shoulder. Like Joey's Empire concept of having hidden temples in the jungle? Yeah, absolutely. It's a classic vibe. Kids were excited to find peaceful mode and really enjoy your videos. That's great. I mean, peaceful mode is another valid way to play. I think a lot of people just end up getting frustrated with peaceful mode when they're trying to do stuff with mob drops. That's the main thing. Like, you can't necessarily make super exciting slime block flying machines, you know? Unless you want to go the Ilmango route and build like a sneezing panda farm, and even then the slime output is excessively slow. There's roofed forests everywhere in this world. I'm like, what is this, bingo? Peaceful mode is a challenge in itself. To experienced players, definitely. I was going to just jump right down here, but I was like, no, I don't want to risk taking that much full damage, even with protection. Of course, Ilmango would make a sneezing panda farm. You have to. The only other way to get slime balls is from the Wandering Trader. I use honey blocks instead, but honey blocks don't do all of the stuff that slime blocks do. Like if you want to launch items, for example, like the sticky thing is one thing, but sometimes you also want slime blocks and honey blocks. So you can build things side by side. The Wandering Trader can be farmed. But the likelihood of him bringing slime every time is also a factor. You can tell I've been here before because this is finishing burning, not starting burning. Where are we? Okay. Not too far away. We need to head back a little bit further south. Honey pistons need to be added for peaceful mode. It's not a bad suggestion, really, is it? I think that's the... Okay, I thought for a second that was like oak pillars or something, but it's just the shadow underneath those dirt blocks. I think that's the meadow biome that kind of leads into the area where he found the horses for the first time. So I think we're probably fairly close to home here. Headed back to the Riverlands. Honey pistons make sense. Honestly, just another way to craft sticky pistons using honey bottles instead of slime, but then I feel like that reduces the impact slime has on stuff. Have I found the new music disc yet? No, I haven't really done an episode about music discs. So, I have not found the other side disc. It's not been in any of the dungeons that I've raided, at least, so I expect we'll find it when we go looking for either more dungeons or a stronghold. Then again, it took multiple strongholds to find it in a few of the worlds that I visited, so... Since biomes change after 118, you're confused how many biomes have been removed and how many have been added. I think it's kind of difficult to track, because a lot of the way biomes used to work was that there were variants of biomes that dictated the shape of the terrain, right? So you had, like... Shattered Savanna, and there was like Savanna Plateau M for a while, and there was all this like M this and M that, and Modified Jungle Edge or whatever it was. And now the shape of the terrain is dictated just by a separate set of parameters, and the biomes are applied over the top of that like paint. So a few of the biomes are called different stuff, but they still exist. A few of them have been reduced to just like, this is a swamp biome, but it's a swamp biome generating over hilly terrain, rather than it being like swamp hills or something like that. So when you think of stuff as having been removed, the biome IDs might be gone, but they haven't necessarily removed the... See you. But you can't see me, haha. Yeah, I don't think they've removed the biomes themselves, they've just changed the way that stuff generates. In the 100 hours while Joel found the other side in the first chest he opened in the stronghold. Nice. Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of luck, really. It's like finding an enchanted golden apple. It's like, sometimes you're going to find it right away because you opened the right chest. No guarantees one way or the other. Hillary, thank you so much for the 3 months of Prime. Welcome back. Swamps tend to lower terrain. Yeah, and it's much more about, like, mountain generation and stuff as well. It's like, after a certain height, it's not going to be a meadow anymore. It's going to be like a stony peaks or a frozen peaks or whatever. Really like the new meadow biomes. I like them too. I think they've got good vibes. They've got an achievement associated with them, which is nice. And honestly, finding a whole patch of a specific flower... Excuse me, my nose is really itchy right now for some reason. Finding like a whole patch of a specific flower is a really cool attribute, because then you can go there to farm specifically like alliums or whatever, right? Low-key exploration of the world is your favorite way to play Minecraft? It's fun. I don't do this often enough. And obviously right now we're just heading home, so I know the way, but I think we'll explore out in a different direction. We'll go in a direction we haven't really been very far. And we'll see what's out there. What's the achievement? How do you get it? It's called Sound of Music, and you just have to play a music disc in a meadow biome. I like to do it with the other side disc, because it's a reason to go and get one of the treasure discs, but you can do it with any music disc, just one you find in a dungeon. Craft a jukebox, go find a meadow and play it. So I think most people are going to do it with either Cat or 13, which is funny, because 13 is like the weirdest sounding music disc. If I need to find specific biomes later in the game, am I going to use a third-party world viewer? I think once I've found at least one of everything, then I'm going to allow myself to use, like, yeah, chunk base or whatever, right? Or amidst. But, for now, I like exploring. I like the organic feel of exploring. I think the only thing I have left to find, really, is a Mushroom Island. But I don't necessarily want to, like, spoil for myself where that stuff is. It's kind of fun going out looking. What is my favorite music disc? I think both the treasure discs are really good, like both Other Side and Pig Step are both awesome. I think out of the other ones, it's probably either Cat or Stahl, but I like a lot of the others. Here's wool, there we go. A little bit of wool from the Woodland Mansion. A bit of dark oak as well. Just clear up the inventory a little here. What was the other site than Chunk Base? Amidst is a program that you download for Windows. So it's not a web-based tool, it's a downloadable program. But, yeah, is another, like, biome overviewer kind of tool. Ninja Kitty, thank you for the 100 bits. You're the reason I know everything about Minecraft. Thank you. If you could collab with anyone new, who would it be and why? Difficult question, because right now I'm very much in, like, a single-player headspace. So kind of hard to say, really. Mine Atlas? No, Mine Atlas hasn't been updated since, like, 1.8, Ginger, so I don't think it's gonna update to newer terrain. Like, I think Mine Atlas is just for, like, 1.8 to 1.17, I guess, worlds. What does the Nether channel point rewards mean? Redeem it and find out. Can I tell you how the meadow looks in Bedrock Edition? Probably the same as it does in Java. It's kind of minty green grass, one type of flower everywhere. You find a lot of donkeys and rabbits spawning there. Some sheep sometimes. But no horses, just donkeys. Do any of them work for finding dungeons? I don't think so. Although Amidst might do, because it's just going to, like, mine the world seed for data on where that stuff generates, but I don't know how dungeon finders really do what they do, so. Any strategies in mind for random Clash of the Creators? No, I'm just going to roll with it. Like, it's going to be a laugh either way. Whatever happens, happens. There's some stuff that, like, in terms of vanilla advancements, it's really going to it's going to depend heavily on, like, breaking as many blocks as possible right out of the gate. So you know that, like, if you break a grass block or a dirt block, then, like, you get iron or something, and then going where you go from there. And then working with resources that already exist in the world. Like if there's a village nearby, that's at least got some furnaces that we can use to smelt stuff. But it's really going to be about working out what is what and then remembering that. That's going to be the tricky part. Hamids does find dungeons too. That's good to know. Again, I haven't downloaded it. I don't really plan on using it, but good to know that I can recommend it to people. What are the teams this time? The teams are random as well. A lot about this event is random. And it's in 1.17, so they're not going to have, like, new world generation and whatnot. Oh, this is getting full. We need to, yeah, we need to condense some of this into blocks, I think. Like, the middle chest is only just starting to fill up, but the top chest has been full for a while. Got a lot of iron now, it turns out. I've made an iron farm quite early in this world, and I haven't really started on some of the projects that are going to require a lot of iron, but I think that's going to change maybe this week. Like, I want to start doing some stuff with, for a start, automatic bee farming is probably quite high up on the list. But we're also going to do some, maybe, like, auto-sorted storage tutorials and stuff like that. We'll figure it out. We'll work on it. Oh, it's raining now. Then I can set my spawn here and I'll clear up the weather as the sun goes down. A lot of poppies. Yep. They're going in the composter for a little bit of free bone meal. Amidst apparently requires Java 8. Interesting. I assume Java just overwrites the previous version, so you might have to do some kind of custom install in a different directory there. Is it going to be one item sorter, or those that need like 41 items, they annoy you? Well, they're overflow proof, so don't let them annoy you too much. They're incredibly useful. Okay, had a lot more iron than I expected there. Cool. Gonna have to make a lot of, I don't know, chains or something. So I plan to try and find the rare axolotl. You can't find it anymore, you can only breed it. And I guess we'll do that at some stage, but it's going to be a heavy amount of grind. We're just going to do that on streams at some point. That's going to be the new netherite beacon grind for this season, is try and get an axolotl that's blue. Yes, I am prepared for beacons. That is where we're at right now. Recently needed a lot of red wool. You built an iron farm for that. It's fair enough. Assuming you have a lot of white wool to begin with. We should have a decent amount of red wool over here now, but the sheep farm doesn't run while you're away. So we probably got like a stack maybe in here. Not even. I need to spend more time around my base, evidently. So let's go exploring and be nowhere near it. Fuzzy Bees, thank you for the 5 months of Prime. Long-time YouTube sub, been watching since the beginning of Season 1. Keep up the great content. Thank you very much. I will do my best. I think we're going to go south today, because I think south and maybe southwest is probably the direction I have gone the least. Yes, I know I could put a chest on top of the hopper, I just don't have one on me. On the diagonal with 21 months, thank you so much for the resub. Hope you're well. Bases in the spawn chunks, isn't it? It should grow wool. The player needs to be within 128 blocks for grass to grow back. So for grass to spread to adjacent dirt blocks is based on random tick, like crop growth. So the spawn chunks, unfortunately, do not propagate that behavior on their own. Oh yeah, I'm not going to worry about feather falling right now. We can do that a bit later, but that's just going to be like grinding for books and XP and stuff, so we'll see what else we can do in the meantime. We'll come back for feather falling later. Love the Ocean Monument episode. Convinced me to give it a try without a trident. I honestly never raided them with a trident. I think we're going to do an episode later on in the series that's going to be raiding an ocean monument using a conduit, a trident, and axolotls. Because those are the things that people mentioned on the episode were like, oh hey, you can do it this way, you can do it that way. I never raid an ocean monument without a conduit. I'm like, I don't think I rarely raid them with a conduit, because the problem with a conduit is you have to set it up one block away from other blocks. But to do that, you really need to have a block to place it against. You can do that with signs and stuff, I guess. Now signs can be waterlogged, but the setup for a conduit is a little bit awkward. And yeah, I just never bother with that. I've thought about a cow crusher for easy leather for books. Books are no longer a problem. I just raided a woodland mansion. I have all the books I will ever need. Now, of course, I need an axe that can actually break bookshelves down into books. Guardian Farms are your favorite on Bedrock. Only problem is lack of gunpowder? Yeah. The only not normal way to raid an ocean monument is TNT. See, I don't usually do the TNT method. I know a lot of people swear by it, but I'm like, what if the Guardian just swims out into open water? I also don't like the precision you have to put into placing the blocks, but now that I've raided monuments so frequently, the quote-unquote standard way, I find that they're much less intimidating for me to explore. I know some people are like, it's a maze, I don't want to do a maze. I'm like, it's really just a matter of finding your way around. Eventually you just get used to it. Again with these lakes, I love the lakes. The fact that river biomes can do this now is so cool to me. It's like a reservoir almost, you know? Surrounded by all of these hills and everything. Will the new Woodland Mansion episode be my most viewed video? I have no idea. Honestly, I doubt it. I don't know what it was that made that video especially searchable, but might have been like some big name YouTuber like PewDiePie or whoever was doing a series at the same time and it just ended up in people's recommended. So like, who knows? But I do think, you know, it might catch a few extra views just based on the popularity of the old video and like associated search terms and stuff. I don't know. Doesn't matter, really. I think it's bizarre that the other one got as many views as it did. I think that way is just going to be the jungle biome that I'm already pretty familiar with. So we're going to head this way. We're going to continue going south. Must be tough to remember what you discussed in Season 1, but not yet in Season 2. I guess not really. Like, I can look it up, is the useful thing. Like, having a pretty permanent archive of my entire YouTube output, I can go and look up the stuff that I covered in the old season. But I'm also not trying to... Hello. Alright, hold that thought. Chat, hold that thought. So that's pretty cool. I'd say that's pretty cool. I think we're adding that to the list of stuff that's nearby enough for me to want to take the coords. Not only is it a lush cave over there in the distance, but just this. Like, remember how I want to say season 5 of Hermitcraft, their community area was a big hollowed out area? Probably about twice the size of this, but... you know, half the work would be done for us at this point. And the glow lichen with the little points of light on the walls. I love that. Love that. And you can see all the way to deep slate level. You know it's a good cave. A lot of iron around. Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, just rowing past that and seeing this gulf of, like, cavern over there, I'm like, yes, yes, please. So that's one. Ninja Kitty only just able to donate, so here's some more bits. Putting the kettle on. Who wants a top up? Yeah, I'll go for one. Somebody earlier asked me what my favorite type of tea is. I mostly drink English breakfast tea, which is just black tea. But I do like a bit of variation on occasion. In summer, I tend to drink a bit more fruit tea. It's another ruined nether portal. Nothing much to write home about there. Savannah over this way. This entire world is savannas, I swear. Savannas and jungles. Just like super common around where I am.
Well, that's just prime.
Momo, welcome in for the 18th month subscribed to the channel. Nice to see me streaming as always. Well, thank you. Favorite way of doing tea is hot black tea with chocolate syrup. That sounds like an interesting way to make a kind of tea mocha, I guess. Never really tried that myself, but to each their own.
Well, that's just prime.
Meep, meep, meep. Back up, back up. What is this? It's like a crack in the mountain that goes all the way up there, and potentially all the way down. See, on the cool meter, that's not pressing all the buttons. Not the way that last area was, but still kind of neat that it continues into a cavern over there. Where's the beard? In the bin right now. Oh look, Savannah Village. Prefer Earl Grey? Yeah, Earl Grey's a solid choice. I went through a phase of drinking cold brewed Lady Grey mixed with lemonade. It's kind of like my own homemade Arnold Palmer sort of recipe. It was fun. Very, very tasty. Bit of citrus. Yeah, Barry's I've heard a lot of good things about from my Irish friends. There's definitely some people who will like not drink anything else.
That's just prime.
I'm not that much of a loyalist when it comes to tea, but I just like to get the same thing because I know I like it. GRT, thank you so much for the Prime sub, and Bastia, thank you so much for the Prime sub as well. Hopefully, if that's a real word, I said that right. Darjeeling has been your jam recently? I don't know if I've had much Darjeeling. I like a Lapsang Souchong occasionally, when I want my tea to taste like a bonfire. Let's get some sleep for the night. Nothing too remarkable out here, but having reasonable access to some wider plains biomes means, you know, maybe some good future projects. Don't always like the look of savannas in like eyeline of, I don't know, something more medieval. But we'll see what happens.
Well, that's just
PG tips? I mean, I can drink a PG tips. It's not what I tend to buy, but Amaji Morio, thank you so much for that Prime sub. Yeah, still headed south. They made changes to temple spawning in deserts. Only half the desert villages you found have a temple in them. I don't think they've made any changes to it other than the temples don't really spawn as buried as they used to. Or maybe they changed that back again. But I know for a while they spawned on the surface and they wouldn't spawn buried at all. But then people said, no, we actually like them being kind of half buried. But I don't know if one can be completely swamped in sand. Again, flukes of generation, I'm sure, cause all kinds of weird stuff like that, but I think in your case it may just be a coincidence, but a happy one. Gonna try the Pixel Rift's Arnold Palmer for sure. Yeah, you gotta make it sweeter with a little bit of sugar when you cold brew the Lady Grey. But then again, the lemonade is gonna provide a bit of sugar as well, so depends on your tastes, really. I know Arnold Palmer, as it comes like in the pre-mixed cans in the States, is very sweet. Can tell we're loading new terrain here because I just feel this ever so slight chunkiness in the frame rate. Like it's dipping a little bit because it's still generating terrain. Husks should drop sand. I would like that, but there's not really a very effective way to farm husks. Because they have to generate on the surface, so your mob farm has to be quite specialized, and it will only run at night. Husks drop sand in Skyblock, though. In Dr. Trog's Skyblock, at least. Because they added that in with the data pack. What I like to find when I'm exploring now? Just cool stuff. Biomes that look really interesting. The places with the potential to set up a long-term base in future. Also, areas like this, where it's just like a big sprawling plains biome, are actually kind of good, because it means if we want to build something big, we know where to start. Hey, Emily, welcome in. Yes, I have been streaming on Twitch for a little while. I started streaming on YouTube back in the day, but I didn't really like it at the time. And I honestly think Twitch is the better platform for it, but I do try and occasionally advertise my Twitch streams just by using my community page on YouTube, just to let people know where I'm at. So hopefully you found me through that. Red is fun with the 2 months. Glad I'm back to following you. Your content videos are fun, informative, and changed my Minecraft life. Wow. Always an honor to have changed someone's Minecraft life. The other thing I don't think I have found yet, which I haven't really been looking for necessarily, but it's kind of an oddity that I haven't found one, is a village with a blacksmith. I feel like a lot of them have had, you know, these buildings, cartographers' houses, that kind of stuff, but I haven't seen one with a proper blacksmith in it. Either that or I've ignored it entirely. But when I've been looking around... Oh, there's our villager death trap, folks. When I've been looking around on... you know, other areas of the world, and I've been looking for either for villages specifically, or I've wandered through a village and made a note of it. I have not yet found one with a blacksmith. Then again, I'm so used to the way plains blacksmith houses look that I probably end up missing a few of the blacksmiths in other towns. Got a bunch of new people watching today. Thank you so much for popping in, folks. If it's your first time here, please do drop a follow. We stream every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Although, alternating Sundays, I do stream Dungeons & Dragons on a different Twitch channel, so we might not be here every single Sunday. This Sunday, though, Clash of the Creators is back for another fun, competitive lark around. It's gonna be a good time. Randomized teams, randomized drops from every block. Who knows where we'll end up? But we just have to get the vanilla advancements, so it's gonna be a fun one. Unknown with 100 bits. Too late, I already follow you. Well, thank you very much for the bits. Anyway, this looks like meadow and then grove, maybe, or is that just a taiga? That might just be a taiga. I don't see any snow blocks. Yeah, big old spruce forest. Nice, okay. Good to know. Yeah, so for people wanting to know what meadow grass looked like, it's this sort of color, which is, you know, a little bit difficult description to follow. But you'll notice all of the flowers around here are like 2 specific varieties. And meadows are like that. They have like almost monocultures of flowers, where it's always just cornflowers and dandelions, or just alliums and azure bluets or whatever. And the grass color here is different to the grass color there. This is more of like a turquoisey, minty green kind of thing. A little bit more like a colder biome. Like in the old extreme hills biomes, which are now called, I think, windswept hills. Or in a taiga biome, in fact. It's like this kind of color compared to this kind of color, you know? What time is Clash of the Creators? It's going to be at 8 PM GMT. So we've got an interesting weekend of streams, because Friday night's the Twitch chat cat roast over at Ellen from Now On's channel, and then Sunday night over here is going to be Clash of the Creators. So over in this direction, we have a fair amount of just land. We don't have a great deal of, like, oceans to cross this way, whereas I feel like if we go north, we end up going through a lot of oceans. Interesting, interesting. There's a couple of areas where the river just, like, drops off into a cave here. It's pretty fun. Check in. Oh, hello. You don't see these every day. Unless you live in a tiger village and have this particular type of generation. And of course, as soon as I said, oh, we haven't found an ocean yet, it's going to give me an ocean, isn't it? Of course it is. Tiger village by... Is this an ocean? Oh, it is. Okay, there's kelp. There's kelp, it counts. Mark it for the oceans, please. It's your favorite Minecraft church design? It's a cool looking building. Can very easily renovate that into something a little bit more traditional looking, a little bit more detailed. Every time I see beaches in this game now, I'm like, are you a desert? And the answer is no. We're 4,000 blocks south. We are not finding deserts here, especially not next to a tiger like this. What's my favorite village type? I do like a plains village. The plains villages are just easy for me to understand. They're more kind of classic. But I don't hate the other types. Let's go a little bit east here, just see if we can get around here and continue exploring via the oceans. But I have a feeling this is just going to be a larger lake kind of style generation. It's another shipwreck over there. Which village has the best loot? The ones with blacksmiths, I guess. Either that or the savannah villages that give you, like, the tall grass item in the chests. I think it's savannah villages that do that. Always an odd thing to find. I was wondering what this floating thing was. Also, hello, that was a bit of a drop.
Well, that's just prime.
We've got a UFO right here. Anyone ever found a floating shipwreck in the air? I assume you're a Bedrock player, because it seems to be endemic to Bedrock right now. Interesting. Oh! Again, straight down to deep slate level in that direction. Do occasionally find these cave carvers. Make a really interesting entrance to the underground. Well, I don't have any Minecraft pets in this world because they die too easily. They're just annoying. Like, it's nice that we can have pets, but I feel like they just end up being put around the place. And if they follow you around, then they get into, like, dangerous situations far too easily. You end up hitting them with your sword by accident because of sweeping attacks and stuff. I'm just like, eh. I've never really got on board with the idea of having pets in this world. It's too easy to, like, guilt trip people into being like, oh, you never see your cat. It's like, yeah, well, the cat doesn't need anything in the way that real-world cats do, you know? Bit of a mineshaft. Yeah. I was wondering. I was like, is that a village down there or something? No, of course not. They only provide creeper-free doors. Yeah, I think we'll talk about cats a lot more when we get onto A, the complete catalog advancement, and B, creeper farms. Real-world cats don't need much either, to be honest. Fair, I guess. But it's nice, you know, to spend time with them. Yes, Nitro, we are just exploring. We're just kind of looking around the world, seeing if there's anything super remarkable that I feel like, let's go here and make it into a base. Or if I'm going to have to do the hard work of, you know, actually sculpting an area into the aesthetic that I want. Mostly just trying to find some interesting biomes. Take note of where stuff is in this world. Explore more organically. And then we'll see what we end up with a bit later on. Imagine a village in a cave. You don't have to imagine. There's a couple of them out there. There's some that where the village houses spawn like underneath a massive overhang. Casto found one the other day that was like a kind of land bridge, kind of spanning an area like this, and right underneath on this little platform was the village well, and it was like they had this little shrine down there, and I was like, that's cool. There's some really neat stuff it does, entirely by accident, of course, but world generation just occasionally bats 1,000. Which I know is not how batting 1,000 works as a phrase, but still. You know the baseball players who occasionally bat 1,000. The Lady of Rice, thanks so much for the tier 1 sub. And I'll hate him with the Prime sub as well. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. Imagine a village underwater. You are describing a drowned ruin. Your current world had 2 village houses sitting on deep slate in a cave. Wow. That low down is almost impressive, you know? Will I get netherite now that I have a wool farm? I was going to get netherite without the wool farm, but yeah, I'm not sure if netherite armor is going to come before or after the dragon. We might do it this week. We might get into, like, ancient debris and stuff this week. I want to spend a bit more time in the nether. I say this week, I mean next week. You know what I mean. Tomorrow's video is the Woodland Mansion. After that, we're going to do a more eclectic week next week, where we do stuff like bee farms. Maybe we go back to the nether. We could raid a bastion. I feel like raiding a bastion would be a good accompaniment to the whole netherite mining thing, because you can find ancient debris in some of the bastions. But same with lodestones as well, actually. Is this a stone shore? Why? The shore of what? Curious. Interesting. Kind of this natural pathway leading up here as well. I'm like, where are you going? Where are you going? What are you doing? I think the water is over here. I think it's... The stony shore continues around from... this. And it's just like cut off weirdly by... this roofed forest here. Are they still called roofed forest? Dark forest. They change the names occasionally. A stony shore, if you like. Minecraft is a strange game at all times. A little bit of gravel going on. Do want to go around the oceans a little bit more, just to see if we can luck into a mushroom island. Not happening right here, though. Interesting combination of biomes here. A tiny little patch of dark forest, as we now know it's called, and then grove and birch trees. Strange block game, we love it anyway. Too right, too right. Stony Shore would be perfect for a statue, I guess, but it feels weird building a statue so far away. I do want to find some mountains that are taller than, like, 160 blocks. I want to find, like, top of the world mountains somewhere. Those might be the kind of thing that we go around searching with elytra for. You'll know it when you slam into it. Pretty much. Pretty much. We're now 6,000 blocks out to the south. I've been told that there aren't actually deserts within a reasonable distance of spawn, so I'm wondering if there are any deserts out here now that we're a slightly more ludicrous distance away. There's definitely some large beach biomes. There's a warm ocean leading out here too. Find a mountain with a statue already on it. Yeah, there you go. There's a savannah village over there. Is my partner streaming today? They might be. They've been feeling a little bit rough today, so might be giving it a rest today, I'm not certain. Of course there's a jungle over there, why wouldn't there be? So much jungle in this world. Beaches don't spawn with sandstone. I think they do. I'm pretty sure anywhere with sand in larger quantities creates sandstone. You just don't get a large enough area of it. You don't get desert features spawning, like wells and whatnot. Surely not bingo today? Nah. No, we're going to have a hard time beating my PB now. I got a 21:07 on Tuesday's stream when I didn't really intend to play bingo. I was just like, we'll do a round of bingo because I'd done everything else I wanted to do. Yeah, it was like 21 minutes and change. So I don't think I'm going to be beating that for a while. Don't really need to either. Lovely little shipwreck. The thing about Minecraft is the worlds feel so big, even when you're just... Is that like an entirely coarse dirt island? That's a bit of savannah just offshore of this birch. That's quite funny. The world feels so big, even when you haven't gotten particularly far out, like in the grand scheme of a 30 million block Minecraft world. That there's definitely sections of like the center of this world that we just won't have explored, even if we've been traveling around by boat or running around for a while. So I'm still going to be tripping over new things for a very, very long time. So we're not going to find absolutely every base location on a stream like this, but it's just kind of fun to look around and see what's out there and see what catches our eye, you know? Like when we did the stream where we were finding the snow biomes on Tuesday, finding that one valley that was basically a Yellowstone-looking old-growth pine taiga. That was just a really happy accident, and that's the kind of place that I'm definitely going to go back and build some stuff, even though it's so far away. A question for me. What? I assume you hit enter too early, but I'm not sure I have an answer for you if that's actually your question. Bigger biomes makes your Minecraft world a lot smaller. What? I mean, in a way, yes. There is a less broad range of biomes between you and the edge of the world, but... What? Generation in this version seems to get jankier sooner than usual. It's weird because there's some areas which are very kind of broken up, whether it's by cave carver stuff like this, or if it's the more kind of extreme savanna amplified kind of terrain gen, but there's also a lot of it that feels very natural. There's so many birch forests. I am finding a lot of birch forests. Peregrine Chasm, thank you for the 1,000 bits. Loving this series, thank you. When you say you want to build a base in every biome, does that include dripstone and lush caves? Yes. Maybe the deep slate caves, even though they aren't really a biome. We'll see what happens with deep slate stuff. Oh, we've got another swamp over here. Gonna briefly check this out in case we have the opportunity for, like, double witch hut or something like that. Worth going 5,000 blocks out for something as good as that. Cantex, thank you for extending that tier 1 sub through March. It's a heck of a commitment. But I do plan on streaming at least through March and for the foreseeable future, so thank you for that. MC Fife or McFife, thank you so much for the 245 seems goods. Not really seeing any witch hut from here. There might be one. But I am right on the edge of the biome. Go to the center of the biome and look outward. Usually a better idea. Have you ever thought of doing a Q&A? That's basically what my Twitch streams are, if you haven't noticed. Have I done a Q&A episode of Minecraft? Yes, many times. I've even done Minecraft episodes which are a Q&A about Minecraft itself. Just like testing my knowledge or doing like the 101 questions videos, which I did in Survival Guide 1. Casey gifting a sub, Hillary gifting a sub as well. Thank you both very much. We have one witch hut. One witch hut. The big question is there another witch hut within, what, like 128 blocks or whatever? Because the thing about multiple witch huts is that you either have to pick your AFK spot very, very carefully, or you have to dig a perimeter. Sometimes both. Let's go here. Parishioner gifting a sub as well. Thank you for all the gifted subs, folks. See, now I can't even see where that witch hut was. It's over there, right? Yeah, I see the edge of that one. Should get the black cat from the hut. I'm probably not going to do that right here on stream. We're going to talk about cats in a future video, probably. Cold Dawn gifting a sub as well. Thank you very much. Have I ever played in Twitch Rivals? I have not. I have commentated 3 of them. Which has always been really, really fun to do. Exhausting, though. Like, I was so tired the first time I did that Twitch Rivals gig. Felt like I'd been hit by a truck the following day. It's just a different level of energy and concentration and everything, but it's fun. Dogman Jack gifting 2 subs. Aha, upping the ante, I see. Thank you very much for gifting those subs out to the community. As usual, folks in the chat, if you get gifted a sub, do make sure you thank these very generous souls for hooking you up with the emotes and the sub badges. A double witch hut's common, never seen 2 near each other. I think the kind of most sought after worlds for technical players are the ones where you end up with about 4 witch huts in the same place. I think anything more than that would be ridiculous and would probably require some custom world gen, but yeah, quad witch hut seeds are the kind of things that folks like Psycraft look for. I don't know how possible that is in this version of Minecraft because of, you know, potentially world gen changing and stuff, but I don't think it's impossible. It may even be potentially more likely considering biomes are slightly larger. We'll see. Didn't realize it was me that did the Hermitcraft recap. Yeah, I might have done that every so often for about 5 years. It's a fun little project though. Believe you can get the world record on bingo. What is the world record? Is there one for the current patch? Because the old record was set on a previous version that had different items and stuff. And there's been a couple of tweaks made to the sizes of biomes and things since. It'd be interesting to know if there was a different world record for the 5.0 pre-1 patch. Peregrine, thank you for gifting a sub. To Damp Twig, what an excellent name. Let's go this way. Let's cross this, like, saddle hill over here. I think we'll come back to swamps at some point soon, because I haven't really discussed that slimes spawn there at night. We can talk about the relationship between the moon and mob spawning. Red is fun, thank you for gifting that sub. Once again, very, very generous of you. Is that another swamp over there, or is it the same one? I think it's the same one. Just extending over, yeah, a large enough area of terrain. Oh! We have another plains village. There are many plains villages around here. You may enjoy the contents of one. Am I enjoying the break from the Hermitcraft recap? It seems I'm insanely productive right now. Can't imagine the time commitment something like the recap must be, but I'm sure it's quite a lot. It takes up most of my Saturday, yeah. Right now I'm enjoying having like a little bit more of a break on Saturdays. I can't complain, but it's also nice to feel productive and do recap stuff and collaborate with Zloy, which is something I don't get to do the rest of the time. For iron farms, they need to be at spawn to stay loaded and working, or do the panic mechanics keep them running all the time regardless of where they're at? So the spawn chunks stay loaded, which allows the villagers to constantly be producing iron. An iron farm doesn't need to be built in the spawn chunks as long as a player is around to load it, or if you're more technically minded, you can build something that does keep the chunks loaded permanently by moving a minecart in and out of a nether portal or something like that. That's how the chunks can stay loaded. But that's a lot more of a technical approach, requires a bit more technical knowledge than just building an iron farm in your spawn chunks. So if you're building an iron farm away from spawn, you just need to like either do some work around your base or set yourself up a safe spot to AFK so that you can load the farm and it will work. That's basically how the whole deal works. That's why we build iron farms in the spawn chunks though, so we can go exploring the rest of the world like we're doing right now, and the villagers should still be at home making iron. The one thing to remember is that you don't fall into the trap of thinking that every farm works that way in the spawn chunks, because a lot of mechanics like crop growth rely on players being within a certain radius. So your crop farms and your wool farms and things like that in the spawn chunks won't constantly produce stuff. Can you do a chunk loader on Bedrock? I don't know. I don't know anything like about building technical stuff on Bedrock at all. I barely know how chunk loaders work in Java. I've never had to build one. Because I'm honestly not the type of person who builds like super intensive farms anyway. Like I tend to build just what I need for single player. On a more kind of moderate scale. And most of the time I don't like AFK stuff either, so I'm going to leave the rest of this in here, I think. Yeah, I don't tend to build stuff with the intention of AFKing at it for super long, except maybe, like, Darkroom or Platform mob spawners. Because you can't really avoid AFKing at those. Don't paper and spigot and the like impact iron farms? There are configurations that allow them to work better. I know that the iron farm on the Don't Die server, at least, because we were running that server on paper, with there being like 30-odd people on there. Like, I'm pretty sure that one worked fine. Why can't you AFK in a Java realm? I'm pretty sure there's an auto kick on realms if you spend time AFK, which is why I think people set up things to like auto click on a note block for you. I think that's how you do it, and that basically means that the player is online doing stuff constantly, so the game doesn't want to kick you because it thinks you're doing stuff. Again, maybe that might be the kind of thing that you can configure on realms, but I don't know much about hosting realms anyway, so. No block style AFK fishes were first developed to prevent that kick, and then it turned out they were relatively efficient to make, I guess. Halfway through watching the recent YouTube post and realised the time. There you go. You found me. I think we'll probably talk more about geodes this week as well. I feel like we could do some good stuff with amethyst. Get a heftier supply of tinted glass. Intensive farms are 90% of the time for satisfaction, else I think AFK is a great mechanic. Yeah, I think intensive farms, you need them for servers because people need a lot of iron on the server. The iron farm I've built here is only one module, and it will serve me for basically the remainder of the season of Survival Guide, however long that ends up being. But that amount of iron on a server would be gone within a day. People building storage systems and beacons and all that other stuff. Another lovely shipwreck. Built a geode farm and now you want to cry from the low production rate? There's some interesting ways of tackling that. Is that another ocean monument ahead of us? Sure is. And we got a little nether portal back here as well. Let's hop down here and see what we've got. Another regular golden apple. I might take the obsidian as well, just cause. Man, I always forget that I have aqua affinity. I'm so used to mining things really slowly underwater because of bingo. Bingo has ruined me for regular gameplay, it turns out, but that's fine. At least it's a pleasant surprise and not the other way around. Interesting. When will I take an auto storage? Maybe this week. Maybe this week. In 118, do I recommend strip mining or caving for diamonds? I mean, strip mining is a misnomer. You're probably talking about branch mining. Strip mining would be ridiculous because your best place to mine would be at deep slate level, and you can't instantly mine deep slate with anything. I would honestly, personally, I'd go with caving because caving it's possible to cover more ground. You can see diamonds at a distance instead of basically having to blindly hope that they are there. Oh, we got a raid coming in from Joe. Welcome in. Hello, hello. Joe Hill's raid here. There it is. Raiding as you always do from Nashville, Tennessee. Welcome in, Joe Hill's Raiders. Hi, friends. Hi, Joe. Howdy indeed. Welcome in. Thank you so much for bringing your community over. For folks who don't know me, my name is Pixel Riffs. I'm a Minecraft YouTuber and streamer, best known for the Minecraft Survival Guide, but I also do this little thing you might have heard of called the Hermitcraft Recap. It's a pleasure to see you all. If you feel like dropping a follow while you're here, that's very much appreciated. We stream every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday around 3 PM UK time. And this is the Minecraft Survival Guide world. We're doing a bit of exploring today. We're just looking for cool biomes, places where I can make a base in future, that kind of stuff. We're looking at mountains right now, which is super nice. But yeah, we might have a few other bits and pieces that we have found along the way. Also keeping an eye on the caves, just in case we find anything fun that way. This is a vanilla survival world where I make a bunch of tutorials for my YouTube series. And have a great time doing it. Thank you once again, Joe. I'm sure you got to run off and do your thing. No worries. Always happy to have you. Hey, MusicMan1017 with the 20 months. What's up, Malcolm? How you doing, man? You came with the Joe Hills raid, did you? That's awesome. This is really nice. I love the fact that we get flower forests on the way up to, like, Snowy Peak Mountains now. These just make me really happy. Because there's, like, so many different colors in the scenery, and then this beautiful kind of monochrome frame to the whole thing. It's just super nice. And occasional bits of emerald ore aren't too much of a problem either. Oh, he was playing VR golf with Joe? Ah, interesting. Thought it was Smash Bros. Day. You stand corrected? Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Always fun to play a bit of VR golf. This is the vibe I love in Minecraft now. Yeah, love this. Love this. I would love the mountains to be taller, though. I'm still, like... I still haven't found any mountains that really scrape the sky in terms of what's possible to generate in Minecraft now. Now you want to play VR? I mean, go play VR if you're into it. I don't own any VR equipment, so it's not something I've ever really given a try, except for once at my brother-in-law's house when he had, I think, the Oculus Rift, and we ended up playing Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes, which is a fun time. But I like that game a lot anyway. Love Emerald Ore. Hey, me too. We're going to be gathering a lot more of that in the future of this series. That's looking a little more promising, isn't it? Just judging by the height of that compared to where we're standing right now, I think that might be we might be onto a winner there. Trying to avoid the powder snow as I hop down here because I don't have my leather boots on me. I've got another drift there. Oh. Sneaky. And we can hop down here, and then the powder hits us again. Alright, we can make this. Beautiful. No snow damage for us. Not today. Not today. Am I going to do a world download for this world? Maybe, eventually. But probably not for a long time. Because right now I haven't really built a whole lot in this world, so the world download doesn't really feel merited yet. We'll get to that point, though, at some point. Why do I feel like Zloy would choose to stop talking so someone explodes? He's definitely that guy. He's definitely that guy. Okay, that's a trap in front of this emerald ore. Yep. Haha, take that. Well, I'm going to have to do something about this, aren't I? No! I sink. Hello? There we go. I don't know where I ended up putting that water source. That was not the daring escape I wanted it to be. Do I have my bed back at least? I don't even. This is what you get, powdered snow. I hope you're happy. Where did my bed even go? It sank into the snow, never to return. So that was how not to handle powder snow. In case anyone was curious. For more tutorials like this, head to youtube.com/pixelriffs. I do need to sleep though, because it's getting dark. Imagine that's how the first death in the world went. Yeah, if there was a cave underneath that, would have been curtains. Just loaded an amplified world in 1.18. Yeah, amplified in 1.18 is a whole different beast. No leather boots. I don't have them on me. I made leather boots to demonstrate the walking on powder snow thing, but most of the time I can recognize where powder snow is, so accidentally walking into it is never really a problem. It's much more about rescuing my bed from places like that, or occasionally just mining emerald ore when I want to see it. Whoop. But once you know the tricks, it's pretty easy to spot where there isn't powder snow. Goats! How tall are you? 167. Okay, so that peak is probably about 180-ish. Keeping an eye on our surroundings here, but I don't think once you get up to the peaks you get a whole lot of powder snow. I might be wrong. Yeah, that's something you could have fallen into very easily. Famous last words, though. $180. Exactly 180. King Kong, thank you so much for the 100 bits. Just want to say thank you for introducing me to Minecraft. Ever since the first episode of Survival Guide 1, I came across it in YouTube recommendations when you didn't know what Minecraft was all about. Minecraft's been helping me go through the rough pandemic year, and it tremendously helped me, especially when you introduced me to Bruno and Malcolm's community. Yes, two fantastic streamers who I highly recommend checking out. Okay, they're not in simulation distance, so they're not burning in the sunlight yet, but that's hilarious. Been in Bruno's server and been fun and happy there. Thanks again. Keep up the good work you do for Survival Guide 2. It's a great series so far. Thank you very much. It means a lot to hear that. Yep, now they're burning. Some spyglasses just want to watch the world burn. Have I found a mushroom biome? I've definitely found them in previous worlds, but not in this world. Not yet. How much FPS do I get on average? I mean, I don't know about on average. Right now I'm getting over 120. I have it capped at 150 because, I mean, my monitor's refresh rate is only 60, so I have a pretty low-end 4K panel. But, yeah, I don't really mind about FPS. It's not really a priority for me. It's a lot of stuff I could do to improve it if I needed to. And now they are all just rotten flesh in the breeze. Found 2 mushroom biomes before you found a desert. That's how rare deserts seem to be, apparently. Why not crank up the render distance if you have all those frames to spare? I kind of like having a 16-chunk render distance. Like, it adds some mystery to being able to explore a little bit further. Like, I always feel like being able to see into the super far distance is fun for certain projects, but I like a little bit of that render fog, you know? It's what keeps it feeling like Minecraft to me. And that's a personal preference thing. I understand if that's not how everybody wants to play, but just where I'm at, personally. Found a mushroom island before a desert in your world too. I think I just didn't take the right routes to find a mushroom island. Lots of shipwrecks though. Did I know the rarest block in 118 is Deep Slate Emerald? Did you know pumpkins are rarer than diamond? Some pumpkins over there, by the way. Yeah, the sun is shining, the bees are buzzing, the monsters are burning. The tank is clean. The tank is clean. Concrete farming just got a lot harder. Sure did. Luckily, the deserts, when you find them, are twice as big as they were before. So that's alright. We'd love to find a mining desert on this trip, by the way. If we can possibly find one. Bobby Films Live, welcome in. What's up? Deep Slate Coal is rare now too. Yeah, I think Deep Slate anything is going to be... I mean, like... Deep Slate Coal specifically is going to be rare. And I feel like stone diamond ore is going to be more rare as well, because you still don't get that much diamond generating at higher levels. But you can still find a bunch of it. Deep Slate Emerald is rare only because it's only spawning in specific biomes, right? It only generates as part of mountain biomes. Same with Emerald ore previously. Like, it's more common than people think in mountains, but it's only in mountains. So when you take the rest of the world into account, it ends up feeling quite rare. And yeah, Deep Slate Coal isn't that rare. You can find, like, veins of 8 or 9 of it in one place. It's just the novelty of the fact that where Deep Slate generation begins, coal ore generation basically dwindles down to very little. But you're always going to find some, you know? Use Mine Atlas for the desert. Well, Mine Atlas hasn't updated to 118 as far as I'm aware. I could use Chunk Base or Amidst, but I honestly like exploring naturally because then you find cool stuff on the way instead of just going straight to the location where the desert or whatever it is happens to generate. I've found a desert already. I have a nether portal out to one. My main goal is just finding other stuff. Your first time tuning into Twitch, you're at the dining table watching me explore my world. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Enjoy your meal, assuming you're eating. If not, you're just using the dining table for leisure, which is entirely fine. But thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. We've seen a lot of new people coming into the chat today. Thank you all for being here. Always nice to have some company on these fun, little chill exploration kind of streams. Always great to find blocks of raw iron naturally spawned. Yeah, the huge iron veins are fun. Like, I know they're not going to be nearly as effective as an iron farm overall, but I think they're just fun. I think having fun in Minecraft is underrated. Don't know about you. Going back to the just do things how you want to do things kind of philosophy. How long have I been playing in this world? Since 1.18 came out. And I've been playing basically like 5 days a week for an hour or two at a time, probably. So overall, in terms of stats, 4 real-time days. So that's what? I want to say 96 hours, maybe? But I'm not taking it at any kind of rushed pace, you know? Like, we haven't even considered fighting the Ender Dragon yet, that kind of stuff. It's been much more about the breadth of the game than it has been, like, ticking off the objectives, you know? It's the philosophy here, is use every part of Minecraft. Overhugs with 100 bits. Totally agree. It's way too easy to get caught up in the best farm and forget Minecraft should be generating enjoyment. I mean, right? Sometimes the best farm, the most efficient farm, isn't even what's right for your world. Doc M made a really good point about this in Hermitcraft, actually. He said, like, sometimes you make a hyper-efficient farm not so that you can generate all of those resources, like, all of the time. Because a lot of the time those farms are quite a drain on a server's resources. The reason you do it is because you can run it once and then never have to run it again. And then you have all of that stuff available to you more or less instantly. That's a philosophy I understand. But I do think that people saying, like, this farm should be more efficient, you know, why didn't you build this, why didn't you build that? You got to recognize that some people have different objectives in what they build. Which is a philosophy that I think a lot of folks in the technical communities who prioritize efficiency have a harder time understanding. To them, it seems like logical, like, why wouldn't you build a more effective thing? There's a lot of reasons to not build a more effective thing. You prefer a different design? Like, it's more interesting to you to build something small and then work up to something larger. Like, I like the sense of progression in building a smaller farm, and then as you acquire more resources, build up to something even bigger later on when you have a better location for it, or if you want to build a big industrial district kind of area like folks tend to on servers. Of course it's a jungle. Of course the thing we find is a jungle. 5,000 blocks out diagonally, which is where we found our last desert. Would I consider making a perimeter as a long-term project in Survival Guide 2? Maybe, but then, like, a perimeter for what? Like, I feel like sometimes people just end up digging big holes just to dig big holes. What's my opinion on setting keep inventory to true? I don't tend to do it, because I'm used to the more traditional default way of playing Minecraft. I have absolutely no problem with other people doing that. Do I like war on servers? No, hate it. Not interested in conflict. Just generally. Even if it's for fun, between friends, that kind of stuff, like the competitive side of things kills it for me. Like, really, really not my jam. I feel like that is the second boat that I've found just like overhanging a ravine like that, and it makes me think I'm going in circles when I'm not. I am still going in the same direction. I am a pacifist. I don't like conflict of any kind, even artificially generated conflict, because then it, you know, it bleeds over into real life if you're not careful. Like, if you're not used to that especially, it generates a negative sentiment that you find yourself believing in for the sake of the roleplay of it, but then where the line blurs between the roleplay and the reality can be difficult for some people. And so I never like being the instigator of that kind of stuff in the first place. Like, I'm just like, nah, I'm cool. The way how bigger farms work and the mechanics used in making the original mechanics better is also really cool. Yeah, I mean, improving on that stuff, always interesting. Like, I'm not against big farms in general, big farmer. I'm not against people making larger and more efficient and more dynamic farms, but insisting that that's the only way things should be done is the problem for me. Competitiveness tends to kill a lot of really fun games that would be better off being more peaceful. Yeah, and, like... Hello? Did that dolphin just nudge me around? What just happened? I don't think I pressed a button on my keyboard. I'm not sure how I ended up turning. Weird. Like, I was literally, like, my hand was off the mouse. I was gesturing with this hand. I was holding the W key, and I just went, whoop. It's very odd. Good boy, don't quote me that way. That was taking my words out of context. I completely forgot where I was now because that was a weird way to get me turned around. Aaron, Fake Baron, thank you for the 101 and then the 100 bits. Which class did I like the most in school? I was a music kid in school. I like music a lot. Still do. Just haven't, like, studied it academically for a while. And love how you still learn me things even after playing Minecraft for 5 years. Well, I'm glad to be teaching people new things. Always been the point of the game for me. And CO2, thank you so much for the 100 bits. Dictionary L4 with the 32 months. Thank you so much for the 32. Life's busy at the moment as it has been for a while, so I'm not here a lot, but happy 32 months. Yes, indeed. Well, anytime you can make it, you're always welcome. Thank you very much for being here. What am I doing? Rowing right now. I'm interested to explore the rest of this warm ocean and see if we run into a desert. Speaking of which, is it just a beach? Seems like it's just a island. Oh, wait, no. There are birch trees there. Or are those oak trees? Those are oak trees. Aaron Fake Baron with a tier 1 sub as well. Thank you so much for subscribing. The other strange thing about Minecraft, and the, one wants to say disappointing, but it's not really disappointing, it's just like an inevitable fact of Minecraft, is that you can travel thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of blocks away. But the terrain is still largely going to look like terrain you've already encountered before. And that's the problem, right? Like, if you want to go exploring your world, you're still going to find radically different stuff. But it's always going to be the same kind of savanna, birch forests, that kind of thing. Like, there is no guarantee that searching further out in the world is going to lead to more stuff that you've never seen before. It doesn't get exponentially more weird the further out you go, unless you get into, like, Beta 1.3 and the Far Lands and stuff like that, right? But that's a whole different ball game. The Far Lands don't exist in this version. The cosmological principle of Minecraft terrain, it will always be the same stuff. How far have I ever gotten in a Minecraft world? I've traveled like tens of thousands of blocks before, easily. Like to woodland mansions, mostly. And once again, we have a savanna. Which could end up leading to a desert. Is more likely to end up leading to a jungle, based on my current experience. Ever made it to the Farlands? No, I wasn't playing Minecraft at the time when the Farlands were actually a viable thing. And by made it, that kind of implies going there by physical effort versus what people actually did to get to the Farlands, which was just teleport themselves there. Like, I'm pretty sure Kurt J. Mack is still walking to the Farlands. And he started a decade ago. Been playing Minecraft 1.5 years, you already know more than your friends that have been playing for 10 thanks to the survival guide. Well, I've been playing for 7, so I'm trying to impart 7 years worth of knowledge onto everybody who watches. What were the Farlands? Basically, after you got to a certain point in older Minecraft world generation, we're talking old, like 2010 Minecraft, you would get to a certain point where, because of the way the world terrain generation worked and the way the world was rendered in the early code of the game... See, I told you, there's a jungle here. It would lead to the world generating these bizarre, like, walls of terrain at the very edge of the world. So it would turn into, like, suddenly these weird cliffs with jagged kind of formations in them. This was about 7 million blocks out. It was before everything was, like, updated a little bit more to include a more stable way of generating terrain at higher coordinates. We're probably going to turn around and go back. We're 8,000 blocks out. We haven't found anything all that worthwhile yet. They're still on Bedrock, I think. Yeah, there's still some stuff you can do on Bedrock. It does require traveling out a lot further. But there's some weird stuff that you can do. Ant Venom has a whole video on it, which is part of, I think, the Minecraft Live 2020, I want to say, or like one of those. It was like a pre-recorded segment where he's talking about going to the Farlands. Yeah, it was just like a weird terrain phenomenon that people were really attached to from the early days of Minecraft. If we go this way, we're at least going towards negative Z, and then we can just hang a right and go back east. Why do I prioritize torches in my inventory? Because most of the time torches are useful. If I need to dig down for something, lighting the area up is good. I don't know what else I would put there. Because these two slots here are for, you know, spyglass, bed, boat, or water bucket right now. And then building blocks if I'm building something. The rest of my tools, like I don't need an axe and a shovel on me all the time. But I might as well in case I need to chop wood or dig some sand or dig myself out of a snowdrift like I did earlier. It wasn't a feature, it was a bug? Yeah, it was a bug. It was effectively just like a fact of how Minecraft's code used to calculate where terrain would generate. Do you happen to know that exploring is fun? It sure is. Oh, I do need to sleep soon. So I think here will do. Man, Dolphin's Grace hits me every time. Come on, come on. The sun's basically down. There we go. Really hate powdered snow. Anyone else? It's difficult to deal with unless you just want to wear a certain type of boots. And then you're okay. When do you get netherite pieces? Whenever you want to explore the nether. When am I going to? Probably this week, I want to say. I haven't really got a schedule in mind for anything. Like, I'm just kind of doing stuff on a whim for the most part, but slowly checking concepts off of a checklist. But I think we'll probably do that this week because it seems like a concept that we can explore now. We've done a bit more exploration. And it'd be a good segue into talking about piglin bastions and stuff, so I see it as a viable thing to talk about next week. When you start sleeping regularly just because phantoms are more of a menace, the Phantom Menace. It's a well-known concept. In 118, you made your wife and you max enchanted netherite, gold, and leather boots for normal nether and snowy use. Yeah, that seems like a solid approach to take. Why not use maps to guide my exploration? Because maps are a little bit more... They're a little bit less useful when you get out to certain distances. Like, you're always going to go off the edge of the map if you're traveling in one direction. Which biomes have I found and what have I not found? I think the main thing I need to find right now... Like, the adventuring time achievement is up to 44 out of 50. So there's a few things that I need to find. I still haven't found a mushroom island. We've definitely been in all of the, you know, all two of the cave biomes. I don't think I've found a couple of the mountain peaks yet. I think I haven't been like on a stony peaks or a jagged peaks biome. I've just been on the frozen ones. So there's a couple of other bits and pieces there that we need to tick off the list, but again, I'd like to do the last ones on camera for a YouTube video if I could, so I'm not really going for every single biome when I look for new stuff on these streams. I'm just kind of roaming around and seeing what's out there, you know? What data packs would I personally suggest / use for single-player survival worlds? Personally, I have not really used any. I think the main thing that I want to use... I might end up implementing later is anti-enderman griefing, just to avoid them picking up grass blocks if we do anything cool in the end. Although having them rearrange the landscape occasionally might not be so bad, we'll see. But personally, I don't tend to data pack much in vanilla worlds, because it gets into, like, game mode 4 modded kind of stuff after a while for me. I think the one thing I might do is data pack in a recipe for bundles as well, but I won't do that in Survival Guide because I kind of want to wait for them to be added as a fully fledged feature. I do hope that happens at some stage. Got a village right next to a snowy mountain peak here, so I might bookmark this for later. Thoughts on Dream SMP? I have none, because I have not watched any of it. I don't really have the time, to be honest. But I don't think I'm the demographic either. There's a blacksmith, finally. A couple of bees buzzing around as well. Let's take the coordinates of this, just because it's a interesting location, but I doubt we'll be back. It's like 8,000 blocks away. So let's go see what the blacksmith has. Excuse me, sir. Nothing worth having. Fair enough. There's a couple of gold ingots in there I'm not even going to bother taking. Because I can just go mine some gold if I want gold that badly. Not even any diamonds. And the diamonds would be useless to me as well. I just like finding them still, you know? Danny, happy Thursday to you. Happy Thursday to you. Sploosh. Would I ever record a survival guide episode on stream? No, I like keeping streams and recordings separate because when I'm recording, I have a completely different energy. I like to just relax and explore and have chats with people on stream, and I feel like recording it, while it might, like, you know, provide a little bit of time saved in my daily routine, I feel like the way I record videos a lot of the time is very kind of stop-start, because a lot of the time I'm trying to find the right words to explain a concept, so I find myself stopping sentences halfway through and repeating them. And like, people saw this in an episode where I was making the cave spider spawner and I forgot to edit out a section that I ended up editing using the YouTube editor. But there was a section where I was talking about like whether or not a lever was going to turn off some redstone dust, and I was like, so this lever here, so this lever we've got here, and like just trying different ways of starting the sentence until it really kind of kickstarts how I want to say something. And so I do that a lot, and people seeing that on stream would just be like, is this guy okay? Like, is he having a stroke? What's going on? So I try and keep streams and video recordings separate because they're different styles of how I like to present things. If I make a mistake on stream, people are just like, oh, it's okay, he's a human being, it happens. But if I make a mistake on a video, then I kind of need to go back over that mistake and make sure I repeat myself and get it right. Whenever you get out of a boat in your world, it disappears. Welcome to playing Minecraft Bedrock Edition right now. That is a problem with Bedrock. Unfortunate. There's a lot of issues with entities in general disappearing in Bedrock Edition right now, which is not fun for Bedrock players, so I sympathize.
Well, that's just prime.
Cheese Greater Guy, thank you so much for the Prime sub. Yeah, what I'm finding in this world is there's a lot of roofed forests, a lot of dark forests. There's a lot of birch forests. There's a lot of savanna, a lot of jungle. So when I find anything other than those four things, I'm usually quite happy. Plains biomes are just neutral for me, like I don't even worry about them anymore. Would I ever join an SMP? Might have joined a couple in the past, but right now I'm focused on single player. Why do I choose Java over Bedrock? It's just what I started playing. Like, Bedrock Edition didn't exist when I started playing Minecraft. I mean, it existed as 4 or 5 separate versions of the game. They had Pocket Edition back then. It didn't even have the Nether. I played on Console Edition first because I was playing on the Xbox 360, but that had a limited map size for, like... A map that didn't even have a guarantee of having all of the biomes in it because it was only 800 blocks square. And when I started playing on PC, I played Java because that was the only thing that was available at the time. Everybody I have watched on YouTube since then, with the exception of some people more recently, has been a Java Edition player. All of the Twitch streams I would start watching, all of the YouTube content I was watching, all Java. So I've learnt the Java game, and there are so many subtle differences on Bedrock, which have improved more recently, but relearning how to play the game, basically, so I could play Bedrock Edition just was a non-starter for me. Java's just been the version I've played since I started playing on PC. And that's been 7 years now, nearly 8. My buried treasure video, a magma block actually generated on a supposed to be buried treasure. I think the way it works is that some of the terrain features generate to overwrite certain things about the environment. And that magma block that was added underwater ended up getting generated after the game had generated the location for that buried treasure. It basically does several passes working out where the landscape is going to be, where the trees go, like adding this, adding that, and then it, I guess, deleted that section of the terrain where that treasure chest would have been buried. Nice, nice death trap there. Oh, this is cool. Dripstone Quarry. It's very far away, but I might take this just because of how interesting it is. Like, we've got a little aquifer over there, just providing water into this area. I do want a location to get a lot of dripstone from, but not one that I'm going to use as a permanent base. And there are dripstone caves everywhere, but it's kind of a neat surface opening for one. Monster teeth. Yeah, it does have a little monster toothiness to it. What does one do with dripstone? A whole bunch. You can build with it, which is a good start. You can create renewable lava and water very easily with some dripstone. You can craft more dripstone and dripstone blocks with it. It's a variety of things you can do. On Bedrock Edition for a while, I'm pretty sure because you could put potions in cauldrons, you could actually have dripstone basically infinitely refresh potions for you, but it ended up being too OP, so they removed it. Because if you could have water drip into a cauldron, it could basically like top up the potion that was occupying the cauldron at the time. Yeah, Masons sell dripstone blocks in 117. That's how I got most of them. Because you only got dripstone in small clusters in caves, right? But, yeah, getting hold of dripstone blocks is a lot easier now that there's entire caves made out of the stuff. You can only dye cauldrons on Bedrock Edition? Yes. In Java Edition, cauldrons don't have as much use. But now they're useful for renewable lava, then that's actually pretty helpful. Pretty helpful. Is this... Okay, this is not the same, I'm seeing terrain that's doing something similar and thinking, is this the same place I was? Not really. Mathsboy UK with the 14 months says, keep up the videos. Thank you, I will. Got another video coming for you folks tomorrow. Exploring a woodland mansion for the first time in this world. Will it have secret rooms? Find out tomorrow. Found a dripstone lava farm is necessary when you find a vein of copper or iron, otherwise you run through stacks and stacks of coal. Yes. And since I'm keeping a lot of the iron that I dug up from that raw iron vein as raw iron, I'm probably not going to worry about smelting any of it for a long time, especially with the iron farm having such a high output, but you never know. We could need it in future. Same with the raw copper, actually. Well, this is something that I could just ride off into a cave. Another big ocean here that we might just do a quick once over to see if there's any mushroom islands out here. That's still the biome that I'm, like, most curious about finding. Could need to build a giant cod statue out of raw iron blocks. It's entirely possible. It's happened to me before. Could happen again. Why is crying obsidian called crying obsidian? Because it drips. Fun fact, crying obsidian was initially going to be a respawn point for players before Notch decided to implement beds. It was an idea that was kind of put into the game a while ago. Well, I think Jeb might have been involved with that part. I can't remember exactly the history of it because it was before my time. Does the rule with the spawn chunks always being loaded apply to Bedrock? I don't believe so. Unfortunately. That boat forgot to sink. It did. There's a few of them, actually, that I found so far that are just like... Is that actually a shipwreck? Does it count as a shipwreck if it's actually floating perfectly on the waterline, or it's like driven straight onto a sandbar? Always wonder how you need, how easily you conquer ocean monuments. Yeah, I don't know. I find that just going after the Elder Guardians is just a very effective way to do it. you run at the other Guardians and they just run away from you, so can't really fault that as a strategy. If I could change anything in Minecraft, what would it be? I would give this world more deserts. No, as far as like changes in Minecraft, I honestly like what I want is for everybody to have a functional game they can play. And I know in Bedrock Edition there's just been issues with bugs for the longest time. And so I would kind of hope that folks on Bedrock Edition could have a better time of it. That's really it. Like, I'm really happy with the Java Edition experience right now. I don't have much to complain about. If I'm complaining about stuff, it's mainly for comedic effect anyway, so. Rendina, thank you for the 26. And Devon, thank you for gifting 2 subs to the Esper Queen and Gross Jr. Enjoy those subs, folks. No spawn chunks in Bedrock. You can create ticking areas through a game rule. Yeah, that's the difference, I think, with Bedrock Edition. The whole ticking area distinction. What about some sort of terraforming beacon power where you can convert a biome over time by leaving an active beacon in it? But then, the thing is, if you're converting a biome, what does that mean for the area? Like, does the biome just end up in a perfect circle in the same way that the beacon's radius is in a perfect circle? Because that's honestly, like, not the ideal shape for a biome a lot of the time.
That's just prime.
I'm saying, like, there are good ideas, but then the problem is not that the idea is bad, the problem is, like, how you would then implement it. And it's really difficult to come up with solid implementations for a lot of the more interesting ideas that the community has. Like, does that mean that the blocks around there get permanently transformed into, like, sand if you want to have a desert biome there? How do you program that? How do you stop people griefing with it by just going to somebody else's base, leaving a beacon there, and then suddenly they come back and their whole base is made of sand? Like, there's things to consider. Catabetes, thank you so much for the Prime sub. We had a cat with diabetes back in the day. No longer with us, sadly, but yeah, our cat Pickwick had diabetes. If I could add a biome into Minecraft, what would it be? I really love flowering cherry forests in any, like, mod pack or kind of terrain modification thing that they appear in. Like, Biome Bundle has those with the kind of pink leaves and stuff to it. Like the kind of Sakura Blossom petals. Super cool looking. Jorona, thank you for the 100 bits. If Minecraft added a usage of a fletching table, what do you think they should add? I think there should be a variety of arrows that don't necessarily revolve around potion effects so much. But if you imagine something like shock arrows or, you know, something like that. I think a lot of those are really tied to potion effects already. And, like, explosive arrows might be a little bit too damaging, especially if they can destroy blocks. Oh, Pearl's coming in with a raid. Hello, welcome in. Oh my goodness, so many people. Hey, the raid coming in. Welcome in, Pearl. Welcome in, Pearl friends. How you all doing? Hey, good to see you all. The potato party. Bringing the heat as always. What the heck? This is not a column I have left here. This is just a floating column of stone in the world. So, hello, welcome in. My name is Pixel Riffs. I'm a Minecraft YouTuber and streamer, best known for the Minecraft Survival Guide. I also do the Hermitcraft Recap. I was one of Pearl's server mates on Empire's SMP. Today, we're just doing some exploring out here in the world. This is my Survival Guide world. This is my single-player world where I teach people how to play Minecraft. We're just doing a bunch of exploring today. We're just going to be running around looking for funky biomes, looking for cool places to build bases. The usual, really. And right now I'm rowing back home, more or less. Although I got about 8,000 blocks out, and I was like, I'd better turn around and head home. So we're just seeing what's on the way back. Got some Plains Village action around here. I love when they have bridges across the water as well. That's kind of cute. What was Pearl up to today? Hope you all had a good time. Is Empire's updated to 118? No. No, the server's on 117.1, I guess. When do I think I'll go fight the Ender Dragon? Not next week, but maybe the end of the week after. I'm aiming for like episode 50-ish, and I'm making 5 videos per week, so we will end up gearing up to fight the dragon and then going to do the fight And then the week after that is probably going to be End Week or something like that, right? Thank you so much again for the raid, Pearl. If you got to run off, I completely understand. You're playing Breath of the Wild today? Very nice. Breath of the Wild DLC. I've never played the DLC. I've only played the base game. But I love that game so much. One of the better gaming experiences of the last decade, in my opinion. I'm not really a Zelda player either. Like, I never really historically played many Nintendo games in general. I had a Sega Mega Drive, the Sega Genesis. It's called the Mega Drive here in the UK. So I had that, and I never really got into like Nintendo games so much, but I played 3 Zeldas. I played Ocarina of Time and Wind Waker, because a friend of mine from work, where I used to work at the time, gave me his GameCube, because he was going to just like donate it otherwise, and he was like, if you don't play at least 2 Zelda games, I'm going to screenshot that, if you don't play at least these 2 Zelda games, we can no longer be friends. So I was like, alright, I'll play those. Had a great time with Wind Waker. I thought Ocarina, obviously, like, there's a reason it's a classic, but I didn't necessarily like it as much as Wind Waker. I expect, at the time when it came out, like on the N64, it was probably much more groundbreaking than it feels now. But either way, Breath of the Wild is an incredible game. I had a great time playing Breath of the Wild. Wow, what an ultimatum. I know. He was joking, but it was still a good reason to go and start playing them. And very kind of him to give me his GameCube as well. I still have it behind me. It's on the shelf of goodies back there. Your favorite is still Link to the Past on the Super Nintendo? I've never played that one. I've seen a couple of people play it like for randomizers and whatnot. That's the kind of more recent speedrunning craze for Link to the Past. Have I played much of the Final Fantasy series? I've played almost all of the Final Fantasy series except for the MMOs. And I even played a bunch of them on stream. So if you want to see me playing some of the older Final Fantasy games, you can go back to my Pixel VOD's YouTube account where I archived all of my old streams. That bunny's gonna... I was gonna say the bunny's just gonna jump down onto the dripstone and die. Up here we're at like 132, which is pretty tall for a meadow. Yeah, so I played back through Final Fantasy 1 through 10, and then I got stuck on the Monster Arena grind stuff for 10, and I never really, like, went any further than that with it, but, yeah, I really wanted to get to 12 and 13, which are some of my favorite games in the series. Never quite managed that, because I started streaming Minecraft instead, and it got fairly popular around the time of Survival Guide. Hey, welcome in, Low Fat. And Exardus, thanks so much for the 2 months. Love what you do. Keep up the good work. Thank you. I will. I try, at least. Do I watch movies? I mean, I have been known to watch movies, yes. I don't watch them as often as I used to because I feel like I have less time for it now. Usually if we watch movies, we're watching them like as an event with friends or something, and frankly, we haven't had that much time to just kind of hang out with friends lately for various reasons. Will I go get netherite soon? I'll probably get some ancient debris this week, like starting next Monday. It won't be on next Monday, but it'll be around that time. Oh, boo, it's diorite. I was hoping for one of those calcite veins you get in some of the mountains. But that's probably just stony peaks, right? Took you like 2 days to do the Monster Arena, catching 10 of all of the monsters. I think I've got to the point where I've caught most of the monsters I needed. But now it's just down to, like, remodeling the entire sphere grid and earning things fight by fight and respecking all of your characters so that you can do the optional bosses, and I just never got that far. That was just too grindy at that point. How's my shield lower than normal? Vanilla Tweaks Lower Shield Resource Pack from vanillatweaks.net. Bleeding Green, thank you for the 2 months of Prime. Any suggestions of what you should build after a starter house? I mean, a storage, like, warehouse kind of place is usually a good idea because eventually you're going to outgrow your starter house in terms of storage space. Even if you've got a lot of chests in there right now, trust me, you will need more. Outside of that, some basic farms are usually a good idea. I like to build a sugarcane farm because it gets you all of the paper you need for trading with villagers, making maps, making fireworks in the end game, bookshelves for enchanting or decoration. There's a lot of stuff you can do with paper. And then you need, like, enchanted books for various other things. And then, like, obviously food is a priority, but yeah, you might want to start a couple of automated farms, get some wool farming if you want to build with it. Radio Kiro, thank you so much for the 2 months. Why did I decide to become a Minecraft YouTuber and streamer? I started doing YouTube stuff with Minecraft because I didn't really have anybody else to share my builds with at the time. Like, I was really into building stuff on Xbox and just kind of working my way through learning the game. But I didn't have anybody else to play with on Xbox because anybody I knew who played Minecraft played on PC. I played a couple of like local multiplayer games, but never like online multiplayer. So I started on PC because my brother-in-law and a few of his friends ended up playing on this decidedly vanilla server, which I joined and was part of for like 5 seasons. And yeah, that was just a standard kind of vanilla server, but you had to be a YouTuber to join because it was a kind of content creators thing, sort of modeled after Minecraft and maybe Hermitcraft at the time, but it was the kind of thing where I was just like, sure, I'll make a couple of videos, it'll be more of like a hobbyist thing. But then obviously got a taste of people being really into the stuff I was making, kept making Minecraft videos. It was a hobby until about 2 years ago when I ended up going full-time because I was making enough money about it that I could just quit my job, which was an incredibly fortunate thing to happen to me. And I don't know if anybody should ever like start making YouTube content with the intent of just becoming a full-time YouTuber. Like, find out what you want to do, make it a hobby for a while, and never assume that you're going to be able to like quit everything and pursue your dreams in that sense. Just make sure you got a safety net before you do stuff like that, at least. But it worked out for me in the end. What's my YouTube? Same as Twitch. youtube.com/pixelriffs. Right now I'm making the Minecraft Survival Guide series 5 days a week. And yeah, no, it was my brother-in-law who really encouraged me to get started. He basically built me the PC that I recorded my first videos on. So, yeah, he is the kingmaker as far as like my YouTube career goes. He set me down this path. Again, every time I see like a little outcropping of white material from a distance, it always ends up being diorite. It's the worst. Casto is a tech guy. The other brother-in-law, my sister's husband, as opposed to my partner's brother. What did I do before this? For a while I worked for Disney Interactive doing email support and online moderation for kids games like Club Penguin. So if you got banned from Club Penguin, I probably banned your penguin. But no, I used to do that. I used to do email support for a couple of software companies, that kind of thing. When I quit Survival Guide, I was doing like a remote email support job that meant I could work from home, which was kind of the reason why I was able to dedicate a lot of my free time to making Minecraft videos. And that ended up working out really well because it meant when I was, you know, ready to quit, it was just like everything was right here. Iconic behavior. I could tell a lot of stories about the Club Penguin days, but I honestly don't know how much of it Disney would have a problem with me saying, so I might not. Didn't I used to work with music a bit? I have a degree in music production, but I never really did a whole lot with it. I could make music as like a hobby, but I was never like the most talented individual. I could work hard at stuff, kind of the... I consider it like the way I do stuff in Minecraft really is like I'm not naturally the most talented builder. Like I work hard at a lot of the stuff that I do. I feel like that's how I end up with a reputation for at least building some cool stuff every now and then. But there's a lot of work that goes into it behind the scenes, and it's the same with music. Like I'm not an incredibly talented musician. I dabble. But it's been a passion of mine for a while, and so I ended up studying music production, thinking I was going to go into like studio recording. A lot of those skills ended up being brought to bear on my YouTube career, because audio quality was always going to be a staple of stuff like videos and streams and everything. I had some of the equipment already, so it was easier for me to get started than the average person in terms of like equipment investment and stuff. Was the most fun I had... what job did I have the most fun with, including streaming and YouTube? I mean, clearly streaming and YouTube. Like, I get to play Minecraft and make videos about it, and that's how I make my living. Like, I couldn't do anything else at this point. There is no job that I'm, like, yearning to go back to. Club Penguin was fun, especially at the beginning. It got worse. Just in terms of, like, the work atmosphere when I joined was really kind of positive and upbeat and interesting, and it slowly became much more of like a more soulless office job, I guess. And then towards the end of it, basically the office I used to work at was actually the one that PewDiePie and a bunch of his friends ended up taking over, and then I don't think they went there anymore. Like after a while, it was they wanted to take it over as an office, and then they just didn't, I guess. Yeah, the office ended up getting shut down. We all got made redundant. And, yeah, I got some severance money, which I used to upgrade my PC so I could make more Minecraft videos. But it was a career path that ended up working out for me in the end, so... Content moderation is, like, the hardest job. It was more just, like, the email support stuff, and... I ended up supporting Disney Infinity for a couple of years. And that basically failed as a product, so the overall atmosphere around that was not great. I still have some of the figurines over there. Again, like that was the job where I got the co-worker who gave me his GameCube. That's where I got the GameCube from. Okay, I think we're probably fairly close to where I might actually recognize some of the terrain here. So I think we need to head downriver this way. Do I think it shaped my personality? Absolutely. Yeah. Like, I think everybody should work in some level of customer service at some point in their lives, just so they can gain some perspective on what it's like being a customer service person. And that way you end up being a lot nicer to anybody that you have to write, like, a grumpy email to or talk to on the phone or whatever. Like, you understand what it's like to be on the receiving end of an irate customer. I feel like you're a lot more sympathetic towards people whose job it is to handle complaints and things like that, right? Yeah, if we head back towards 0, we'll basically find home. Self-employed, so I guess I am my own customer service to my customers, and yes, it is the worst part of the job, pretty much. It can take such a toll on someone taking complaints all day. I mean, I'd rather do that than work in, like, a call center, where you actually have to, like, telemarket to people. Like, that would be awful. I would hate that. Like I said, I'm not good with conflict, like, in general, and negativity. And so, yeah, the idea of somebody, like, trying to call somebody up and persuade them to buy something, I'd just be like, well, do what you want, you know? I'd be terrible at that job. You're a nurse now, and even in this climate, you'd rather do nursing 100% over hospitality and customer service, and that's why you're a wonderful person, Queen. But, like, yeah, I get the sense that in nursing, you're at least like, I am helping this person, even if they don't always know what's good for them. Whereas in customer service, you start to, like, to get that problem of, like, is any of this helping? Who is this helping and why? So much of that, like, corporate bottom line stuff as well, I just don't Don't vibe with. Fast food drive-through is the worst job you ever had? I've thankfully never worked in food service, because I can imagine that's awful. And that's the thing. Hello? Some people are made for certain jobs, though. Like, I can definitely see some people being, like, not necessarily, like, career fast food workers, you know what I mean? Like, but there are some people who can retain a level of enthusiasm for that stuff that just doesn't work for other people. There's different levels of things that people can handle mentally. You look at people who are, like, you know, they're on the autistic spectrum, they have trouble maintaining eye contact with somebody, they find that really uncomfortable. But then you put them in a customer service job, and guess what? They have to look directly at people, and they're like, I don't like this. Can I not do this, please? But so many, like, quote-unquote entry-level jobs are like that. You've just got to consider people's skill sets and what they're able to do. I feel like if you shuffled the world around to a certain point, you would find somebody who was perfect for every job. But that's not how the job market works. Obviously, in an ideal world, right? Do you ever go back through your Minecraft world? This is a bit of a tangent here. Do you ever go back through your Minecraft world trying to get back to a location like your base or something, and then you don't recognize any of it, and you're like, has my base just moved? I'm kind of feeling that right now. I'm like, I'm so close to that 0, 0 coordinate. We need to go a little bit further that way. I think I know where I am now, but we've gone in such a weird direction. Yeah, this is the beach. This is like the cave spider spawner is in the lush cave underneath here. And my house is over that way. But for a second, I was like, I don't recognize any of this. It was really weird and confusing. But that's why I like to do these exploration trips, though, is because then you get used to where stuff is in your world. You start to notice landmarks. You start to notice, like, oh, yeah, no, I took this route last time I went back in this direction. And, like, it starts to click with you a little bit more. And that level of familiarity is what makes a Minecraft world really special. I'm afraid it's because I'm recognizing my world and yours. Yeah, no, that's another problem, is if you watch too many other people's worlds, if they don't build, you know, a ton of stuff immediately like they do on Hermitcraft or wherever, you end up with deja vu about somebody else's world. That can be a little bit of a struggle when you're watching a lot of Minecraft content. Alrighty, we are back. We are back. And I think now is when we're going to do the, potentially the grind for feather falling, so I can put that on these boots. Because if we're going to the nether at some point soon, I do want to have feather falling. So I think this week's videos are going to be, I want to say provisionally. So I'm not putting this out there as like a, this is definitely the order it's going to happen or how it's going to happen. But I think what we're going to do for Monday through Friday next week, is bees, like automatic bee farm, just so we can do more stuff with copper, get honeycomb, get honey blocks. Geodes, not necessarily like automatic farming, because automatic farming for geodes is kind of rough. But like some measure of like, here's what we can do with the amethyst and the calcite and everything. Different crystals, all of that stuff. Netherite, maybe a piglin bastion, and then like, I don't know, maybe we go out and find a base project somewhere. Maybe we do like a couple of other things. There's some options there. I'm not sure about video number 5. Like, I don't want to do pillager raids and stuff right away. I think I'm probably going to save that for like the week we do the dragon fight. Yeah, there's a few options. I feel like we've got a few options there. Feather Falling 4, we have this on a book already. Incredible. Okay, well, I thankfully have been saving that for a while, apparently. 7 levels. Easily done. Perfect. So now all we need is respiration on the helmet, and the armor is pretty much there. I think we still need protection 4 on the leggings, where it's only protection 3 right now. But yeah, respiration is really what we're after at this point. We've got aqua affinity there. Hello? Quick charge, protection. I should go back to the village. We can get a bit more XP there. And I'll see if they have any respiration books from the villagers. Raids and Dragon in the same week sounds like Battle Week. I mean, we'd have to do the Wither for that to happen as well, and I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. So we've got 2 emerald ores now, which is nice. We'll grab some emeralds. I do need to run to the bathroom real quick, actually, so we're going to pause there. I have paused the game. And I'll be back in a few minutes. Hello. We're back. I've just been sent a tweet. It's actually quite exciting. So, Mojang has put out another Bedrock Edition beta, and there's 64-bit seed parity now. Which means once Bedrock updates, for this to be like in full vanilla instead of just a beta, people will be able to load up the survival guide worlds on Bedrock Edition. Like, they'll actually be able to load it. Now all we have to do is convince people that the negative symbol in front of the seed number is actually required, because I've had so many people being like, this world doesn't generate the same, and I'm like, you got to copy it, it's a negative number, you got to put the minus in front of it. But no, that's awesome. That means that all world seeds are going to have parity. I didn't expect them to follow through with that, to be honest. Yeah, like, that's incredible. It's also going to mean that anyone who's already generated a Bedrock world is going to find their worlds, like, doing skewy kind of stuff. But the other stuff, let's take a look at this on the computer instead of on my phone. Feedback.minecraft.net. Let's take a quick look here. I'll bring this up on the screen so you folks can see it as well, but bear with me here. Beta information and change logs. 118.20.21. Let's get the display capture up so we can both take a look at this together. We'll do this in full screen as well. There we go. So, zooming in. Frogs. Frog. Frog now jump more frequently. Frog eggs renamed to frog spawn. Good. Because that's how I know it. Anyway. Time to hatch has been increased. Tadpoles now larger. Frog spawn have new texture. Frogs in meadow biomes are now the temperate variants. The Create New World screen has been given a new design that's now available for some players. Feedback there. Worlds can now be created with 64-bit seeds. So all, 18 quintillion world seeds can be copied between Bedrock and Java to produce the same world. Heck yeah. Non-numeric seed inputs now produce the same seeds as Java Edition, so if you type a word instead of a number, same seeds as Java Edition. Falling blocks have full block hitbox again. Journeyman clerics offer glowstone dust instead of glowstone blocks. Untamed walls can now be leashed. TNT blocks now move correctly in a random XZ direction once lit. Don't have 100% drop rate yet, but hopefully that's on the way. Fixed an issue with resource drops occasionally remaining black after placing and breaking a block. Yep, top snow no longer clips with the block beneath when falling. Falling, like top snow, is just not a thing in Java Edition. There's a couple of things are different about snow in Bedrock, like the fact that it can create multiple snow layers in one block space is not a thing on Java. Fangs, water buckets, and lava buckets can use done underwater blocks cohabitating with water. Damage calculation accuracy. So mobs are able to path over azalea blocks. Okay, so yeah, a lot of pathfinding fixes. User interface. Remove the question mark button. Items requiring 3x3 recipes are no longer shown when the crafting table is not used. Good. Okay, villager trade tables updated to match Java Edition. Always good. Because Java Edition, I think, has better trades overall. Correct me if I'm wrong. Villagers hold items when presented with emeralds. Villagers no longer avoid zombified piglins. Villagers no longer share seeds and beetroot seeds. Very good. They're removing the additional modding capabilities experiment. It's a shame, but game test framework still exists. Yeah, so that's interesting. I'm so happy we're getting 64-bit seed parity. That's wild. Mostly just because it eliminates the amount of times I have to remind people that Bedrock only generates 32-bit world seeds, which is a number around 8 billion, I think, or 4 billion. Which sounds like a lot until you consider that 18 quintillion adds like 6 zeros after that number. So yeah, that's amazing. Like, hats off to Mojang. Did not think that was coming, but it is. Pretty cool. All right, let's go to the village. So now you'll be able to play in the same world seed on both Bedrock and Java, regardless of what your world seed is. That's pretty immense. And I honestly, I held out hope that that was what they were going to do, which is part of the reason why I didn't pick a world seed that was compatible with Bedrock Edition, like, by default. Because I was like, maybe they'll end up doing this themselves. And they did. I'm not saying, like, I called it or whatever, because I didn't know, but I'm very happy they've done that. That's all I'm going to say. I'm very happy they've done that. I don't know what's happened to my gold boots. I'm not wearing them. I think I must have just, like, put them in a chest somewhere. So I'm going to make a gold helmet instead, because the helmet is less important in the nether than the boots are. Especially now I have feather falling. So we're going gold helmet from now on. It's also slightly less armor loss, is it? Like 2 armor, 3 armor? I don't know. Anyway. To the village! I manifested it. Wish I could say I manifested anything about Minecraft, but hey. Why do I have fire protection on my boots instead of protection? Overall, protection caps after a certain amount. So, like, if you have protection on every single piece of your armor, it's actually not as effective as having 3 pieces with protection and then 1 with a more specialized protection, although that changes when you have a elytra instead of a chest plate. But, yeah, up to a certain point, protection is only going to take you so far. Sorry, this music has a bit of a higher dynamic range than other things. It's just got like a loud synth solo in it. Enchant a set of gold armor for the nether. I don't want to wear full gold armor though. Like, I still want to make sure I have like diamond or netherite the rest of the time. So here we are. Princes of the Universe. 3 protection 4 and 1 specialized. Protection 4 is 80% less damage of the specialized type. Yeah. And like, fire resistance is probably the most useful of the specialized protections, except maybe blast protection if you have problems with creepers, but I recently learned that fire protection means you don't have to spend as long on fire. It actually reduces the amount of time the player spends on fire if you walk in lava or you walk into a flame or something, so that's actually more useful because it reduces the amount of damage ticks from fire. So I appreciate that as a quality of that enchantment. Where are my librarians? There's one over here. Which one are you? Projectile, Fortune, Aqua, Affinity, Unbreaking. Yes, okay. That guy. And then the Mending guy's over here. I don't think he had Respiration. Infinity, Riptide, Looting, Blast Protection. Where is the Mending guy? They still go over there, I don't know why. Why did they put the max protection to 4, not 5 anymore? What do you mean anymore? They never had protection 5. Protection is always capped at 4. Is it you? Are you the Mending guy? No, you're the regular guy. The Infinity guy. This is the Mending guy. Oh yeah, he only had 3 book trades, that's right. Well, I need to mend my axe, so let's trade a bunch of glass from you. And you. We do have one unemployed villager here who I'm kind of tempted to turn into another librarian. We won't be able to zombify him, but he'll get good gossip discounts, so we might just do that. Is this the Silk Touch? It is. Good. Thanks, Jojo the Great. I'm glad you enjoyed the videos. And congrats on your world. Sounds like fun. Ah! Let's put down the lectern over here with the rest of the villagers. Sooner or later he'll show up to this. Come to work, my man. What you got? Immediate discounts. Quick charge 1. Well, that bodes well for the future, doesn't it? He's obviously talked to the other villagers enough. Nope, same one. Man, have a book trade once in your life, please. Seriously, come on now. Frostwalker 2, don't need it. We could cover Frostwalker in a video at some stage, but I'm also like, don't really need it. Seriously, dude. You're killing me here. Feather Falling 4 would have been useful a second ago. Still no. Mending for 1 emerald. Imagine that. Already got it. Already got it on basically everything. Okay, still nothing. We're going for Respiration 3 here. I don't know if that was clear to everybody yet, but we are. I don't want thorns. The reason I don't go for thorns is because I spend too much time moving mobs around. Frostwalker 1. Respiration 3, there we go. For 22 emeralds, but it is a level 3 book, so it's expensive but worth it. Just need to put that on the helmet so we don't have to worry so much about drowning. I knew there was a word in there somewhere. And which of this guy... is it this guy that has the... no, this one. Has the Unbreaking 3 book for the same price, but I also need Unbreaking on the helmet too. Moment of getting a mending tray for 1 emerald and you don't even bother. I have a mending guy already. He's been zombified and everything. That is a pretty permanent trade. Let's see what we can do about trading more stuff to these guys for XP and emeralds, because I just spent a lot of emeralds. So where's... The Fletcher seems to have learned his lesson. Or at the very least, he doesn't wander off as much. Which I'm fine with. And then we're going to buy glass from the librarians, because I need lots of glass. We'll also trade some string to this guy, because he has the good string trade. That good string. Did I buy projectile protection instead of unbreaking? Oh, I did. What? Why? There we go. I think I didn't have enough emeralds. That was probably it. Well, that's fine. I can disenchant this one. I have a free book. Which I can trade back to the librarian. Except this guy doesn't buy books. Who buys books? This guy. You'd think the book trade would be a problem. I have so many bookshelves now. Let's throw these back in there for the minutes. Except this guy is... Nope, he hasn't refreshed yet. So I'll put the sticks in there as well. This snow block and everything can just go in there. I don't know why I have that. Probably just from the mountains that we were climbing, right? You don't sell glass. You sell glass. And you sell glass. Thanks for the glass. This free-ranging villager concept is a nightmare. I mean, it's good for, like, the basic stuff. When you have a ton of librarians, like, if you have one of every type of villager, it's never a problem. It's just when it comes down to, like, I've got all different types of villagers and they all have different trades. That's when it becomes a nightmare. Because while you're over here, you just sleep all the time and you don't have to worry about zombies. I can't believe that Fletcher never renewed his trades. Let's head back to the base. We can get XP other ways. I think villagers are still the most effective XP farm we have right now, but there's lots we can do about that later. Have I ever been to EGX? I have not. What is that? Is that like an E3 type of event? With all the librarians, I feel justified for putting them in small holding pods. I think the thing about trading halls that people underestimate is how effective they are at protecting villagers, because if you put them in like a 1x1 booth with enough blocks around them and stuff, then they can't be attacked by even baby zombies. You put like a trapdoor in front of them, then baby zombies can't get into that space. So like, even though it feels like, oh, it's confinement or whatever, it's also making sure that those villagers don't wander off, get killed. Like, there's so many different threats to a villager's life, including themselves, as we saw from that episode where I had to look up the console logs. So, they can just wander off and drown in whatever puddles happen to be around. So we'll do a trading hall in future when it makes sense to do so, but in the meantime, I'm fine just having a free-range village. I always forget which one the glass chest is. I always go to that one first and it's clay. Dirt can go in here. Grass blocks in there as well. And now let's add these two together. And I think we'll wrap up the stream there because we're coming in on a tidy 3-hour mark. Let's put Respiration 3, Unbreaking 3. Because in the other way around... Oh, it's actually the same. But we'll do Unbreaking 3, Respiration 3 that way. And then we'll add those to this for 11 levels. But that is a much better looking helmet now. I mean, it looks the same, but it feels better on the head to wear. Folks, never look directly at the sun with a telescope, or just with your naked eyes, to be honest. That's where we're going to leave it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Yeah, fun bit of exploring. We got a couple of landmarks there. Nothing too wild, but always good to explore a little bit. If you want some cool base ideas, I'm going to send you over to Jay Methods, who is currently in a 118 Vanilla Survival World building an oasis village. Although right now it seems like he's out in the Badlands, so go check him out. Jay's a fantastic builder, wonderful dude, very friendly streamer. We're going to be raiding Jay today. You'll get a lovely welcome video and stuff and everything. Yeah, my partner is currently streaming over in their little office, so if you want to go and check them out, twitch.tv/celerymin. They are currently, they're not a gamer as far as like Minecraft goes at least. They are writing out Lord of the Rings by hand using stationery and fountain pens and cool stuff. So keep an eye out for that if you're interested. But yeah, I'm going to be, by the way, not a family-friendly streamer. Jay is, but my partner isn't. So keep that in mind. Adult language warning. I'm going to be back here on, I guess, Sunday for Clash of the Creators. But before that, Twitch chat cat roast is going to be tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. GMT over at Ellen from now on here on Twitch. So please do give that a drop a follow. Give Ellen a follow. She's a wonderful streamer anyway, but, you know, the cat roast is going to be the highlight of this week, I think. Yeah, that's it from me. I'll see you folks soon. Take care. My name's Pixariffs. Bye for now.